too. So give me a second.
They're getting impatient.
Yeah, I see it. I see it in the chat. The chat is pissed off. They're like, this dude is taking forever.
And what about language? Am I allowed to drop like F-bombs or whatever?
Not too much. There's like a limit. Like it's weird. There was times somebody kept dropping F-bombs and I didn't mind at the time, but then for whatever reason my channel got, well, not the channel, but the video got demonetized.
Okay, I can be.
So you could, so just So just
I'll try.
Yeah,
I'm pretty colorful online. Like
yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely no slurs or any weird shit like that. The F-bomb, asshole, you know what I'm saying? But if every other word is like cunt, then I'm gonna be like, holy shit, this guy's worse than a drunk seller.
Wait, but which F-bomb are you talking about? Like F-U-C-K?
Yeah, like fuck.
Okay,
I say fuck frequently.
Demonetized already. I already demonetized.
That's it, done. Okay.
All right, restart the stream. Restart the stream.
There goes the show, guys. Thank you for very much. Anyway, welcome my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. This is your only friend in these YouTube streets, Porter77, and we out here with another episode. I don't know what episode. I'll be honest. I lost count. I don't know, episode 9,000. I have no idea. It's just a reoccurring thing. It's live. It's content as a service. It never ends. You won't get sequels. You're just gonna get money transactions and ads on this channel. That's it. Now I'm just playing. But hey, thank you for rocking now. I see you guys were patiently waiting. I apologize. I've received a last minute phone call that I had to tend to. But hey, we're here. We're live. I got a guest. We're going to talk about some great topics. We're going to talk about GamesCom, how it completely flopped. I don't know. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. We're going to see the opinions from the panel. We're going to talk about Matt Damon. This is a good one. So I'm going to put the link on the Twitter about Matt Damon if you haven't seen it. But it's pertaining to specifically his view on how subscription streaming impacted Hollywood's decision on what movies get greenlighted. And that's important that we look at that, because the question is, what's happening to movies now with the growth of subscription happen to gaming when that becomes that? Some people saying my mic is low. Is it low, or do you need to raise your volume? Hold on, let me check. Let me see.
No, you sound fine. Let
me check now.
I'm fine to me.
All right. Hey, well, we're in the Discord though. So let me.
No, I unmuted on the video.
Oh,
and you also sound fine.
Oh, see, look at that. Ah, shit. You see, hey, maybe raise your volume. I don't know. Let me see. I don't know.
Put your TV up. Really? Let me see.
Let me see. Is it there? I don't see nothing. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
Oh, so compared to us, you are low.
All right, testing. Let me see. Input, voice activity. Let's see. Testing. How about now? Let's see.
Yeah, so right-click my name in particular and just lower me down a little bit because I'm loud as shit.
Oh, that's what they're saying? They're saying you loud as hell?
No, I am. I'm hearing myself talk.
Right.
I sound mad loud.
All right, there you go. I lowered yours. Let me make sure everybody's checked. Cloakonics up in here. All right. The levels is good. Project Cloud's up in here. All right. The levels is good. And let me see. Let me raise our guest a little bit. And then, all right.
When you look on OBS, like the audio mixer, if the micro if our thing is peaking in red, then lower that down to yellow because it's too loud. When it touches red, that means it's ear rapey. You want to be down in between.
What are you talking about? The desktop audio or the mic?
No, desktop audio is what is picking us up. Yeah. So if on OBS that's going all the way to red, that means it's way too loud. You want to lower the little bar underneath it so where when we're talking it reaches like yellowish.
All right, so I got that. And then
it's in between green and yellow.
Okay, cool.
If it's red, then it's way too loud.
And then with the mic, my mic audio stays in the green.
And that's it. That should be good.
All right, here we go. All right. Of course, we want to give you.
Yeah, I sound way lower now. I sound much better.
All right, everybody's good. You are low compared to the others, but not bad
on the stream.
You would think the Puerto Rican be the loudest in this. They say my guest is fine, but I am low.
I can't hear him.
You can't hear me?
You changed something on your microphone, P-Rock. Now we don't hear you on Discord.
What?
Rip.
Now you can't hear me in Discord. Hold on.
Yeah, you might check your Discord audio settings. Make sure it's set to your microphone.
All right. Do you hear me now? Uh-oh.
No.
No. Testing. Let's see. Let's check. Testing. Oh, wait. It's not even working now. Oh, wait. Testing. Uh-oh. Testing.
Yeah, just make sure that your input is set to...
Yeah.
No, we can't hear you.
Oh, shit.
There's input and output. Your input should be your mic.
Yeah. It was my input. Let me see. Let me switch here. All right. Testing.
There you go.
Am I back?
Yep.
Am I back?
Yep,
the levels is good.
Yep.
All right. How do I sound? Here we go. Boom. All right.
We
good now. All right. We back on track. This dog shit podcast. All right. So how I sound, chat? Am I still? P-Rock was good. All right. What's up? We good now? This podcast looking like GamesCom. Dog shit. Let me choose. All right, here we go. All right, anyway, so we're back. Let's get this popping. All right, so, hey, I got a guest today, but of course, let me go through the panel, starting off with Call Me Jay. What's going on, my brother?
Yo, what's up, man? Thank you for having me, as usual. I'm expecting it to be a great podcast, as usual, again. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Returning is Cloak Onyx with the 3090 Ti liquid titanium dip cooled PC. What's going on?
At 30 FPS?
Yeah.
Nah, nothing much, man. I feel like it's going to be a good podcast. You'll have to fill me in with the Gamescom because today I just watched the Destiny 2 Lightfall reveal, and that was much better than Gamescom.
I would not doubt it. From what I heard, Gamescom was dog trash.
Save it for a topic.
Okay, but of course, we'll get to that. But thank you so much for showing up, my brother. Then, of course, we got Project Cloud.
Hey, what's going on, man? I literally just finished Gamescom right before I joined, so...
Ooh, good. We're going to get your opinions on it.
Oh, yes.
Excellent. I can't wait. Oh, it sounds like you're very opinionated on Gamescom. Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing that. Oh,
yeah.
Enthusiastic.
Oh, he sounds too.
As you know.
I think I'm gonna lead. I mean, I'm gonna lead the topic with you because you sound very enthusiastic.
I know, right?
Oh, I'm excited to hear. Yeah, man, I'm excited to listen. All right, and then of course we got our guest, Real Generic Eric. All right, first time here. All right, hey, my brother, what should we call you? Real Generic Eric. RGE. Eric. All right, cool, Eric. Hey, Eric. Hey, welcome to the show. If people are wondering why is he here, of course. He hit me up in the DMs and he asked me all this stuff on trophies, and I'm like, bro, you know what? I ain't gonna write a thesis on the DMs. I'm just gonna invite you on the show and we'll chop it up there. And he's like, all right, cool. So we're gonna chop it up. But hey, Eric, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, are you a content creator, podcast, or you're just a gamer that just want to chat? Let us know. Give us an idea.
Well, I do a podcast with my buddy Dylan. You can find him at Real Dylan T Villain on Twitter, and we both discuss PlayStation games. At first, we started this podcast, which is called the Pushing Buttons Podcast. You'll see me typing periodically.
Okay.
But yeah, we initially wanted to cover multiple platforms, and then it was like, well, computer's too expensive for us. Everybody covers the Switch. There's nothing good on Xbox.
Oh,
may as well just stick with PlayStation.
Oh, he already console warring. Not even one full minute, and he already in a console war. Oh, shit.
It's not a war if the battle's already won.
God damn. He already like, I can't talk about Xbox if it ain't shit good on Xbox. What you want me to do? All right, okay.
Well, I mean, Scorn looks okay, to be fair.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So does Fable.
Okay. Ooh, okay. Wait, Fable looks
Wait,
good.
Fable
You seen Fable?
looks good?
You seen
Well,
Fable?
the cinematic trailer looked good.
I was
Man.
like what you seen? That I
The
haven't seen?
the cinematic for Fable 3 looks good too.
Okay.
Hey, to be fair,
Okay.
that's more content than they've produced in the last 2 years. So I mean,
yeah.
give them that.
Oh,
Man,
not wrong.
man, so you're the chat's already liking you, buddy. You're already getting good bonus points in the chat. All right, brother. Okay, when does your podcast? When is your podcast?
So we usually record on the weekends, and then depending on the length of it, it may take a day or two to edit. This weekend, there was a bunch of family emergencies and mental health issues, honestly. Truth be told, I mean, I do kind of want to advocate for mental health because I think it's an important topic.
Okay. All right.
I do suffer from depression, among other things. So,
Oh,
I mean, I
sorry to
think
hear
that
that.
it's something that needs to be talked about. Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna cheer you up here. You came to the right place. We're gonna cheer you up. You're gonna be full energy. But hey, so you doing the classic style podcast where your stuff is recorded and uploaded. So yours is the classic style. Not you don't do a live stream. You record the podcast and then upload it recorded. Is that, am I guessing right? Is that what it sounds like what you do? Oh, so so you're really you actually do the classic definition of what a podcast was.
I went to school for graphic design too.
Oh, okay. Oh shit. Okay. Oh, so I'm gonna hit you up because I got some dog shit visuals here on this channel.
We'll talk.
My shit is dog shit. You know what I'm saying? My shit's like the hood. It's just like rough, rugged, and raw. Right? My shit ain't fancy at all. But anyway, I appreciate it. All right. So one question I want to ask you, I ask every new guest, where is your gaming lineage began? What started your path on gaming? What was your first platform, handheld, whatever? Give us a little detail.
So my very first platform was the NES. I was about 6 years old.
That's a good
one. And the very first game I played was the original Super Mario Brothers. And of course, like every other gamer, I died to the very first Goomba.
Nice.
Because, that's tradition.
That's
and after that, it was Legend of Zelda.
Nice.
And Super Mario Brothers 3. Mega Man, of course. And then we got a Super Nintendo, and we got that used. Got a good deal on that because, I mean, honestly, I'm from Toronto. I lived in a shitty, use my language, bad area. Money was tight, so we had to do what we had to do to make ends meet and entertain ourselves. So my dad found a deal for $100 for a Super NES, and it came with like 10 games.
Nice.
So
yeah,
picked that up.
Oh yeah. All right. So what else? Did you play any Sega, Genesis? Like, how did your gaming evolve over time?
So my buddy had a Sega Genesis. We played Mortal Kombat at his place because it had blood, and it didn't on the Super Nintendo. So that was definitely a complaint. Okay. I had a Game Boy as well.
All right.
Like the original OG gray one with the green screen that you can't see.
I know what you're talking about. And then they try to make that little back panel light that you put over it with the magnifying screen to make it look better.
Yeah, it did help, but it drained the batteries quicker.
Yeah, okay.
So, problem there. But, so I became a teenager, and my parents divorced. My mom moved to the States. I moved down there a couple years later. They got me an N64. They asked me what I wanted between N64 and a PlayStation. And stupid me, I picked an N64.
Because of the heritage. Nintendo made back-to-back great consoles. NES, Super NES.
That's true, and I mean,
I can't blame you for choosing that because they already had a pedigree, and PS1's like this, Sony's like this unknown, like the people who made Walkman, but can you make games? So,
well, also I was around 11 years old, so I was at that point where I was starting to get out of being a child, but I still had childlike tendencies, so Super Mario still appealed to me, and. Killer Instinct Gold was pretty good.
GoldenEye?
I mean, the first one was awesome. GoldenEye, Mario Kart. The list goes
Clay
on.
Fighters.
Yo, there's some good. Turok, that was the shit.
Turok. Oh, fucking Turok, bro.
There was some.
That boxing game.
Yeah.
So once I moved down there, my I guess my cousin through my stepfather ended up having a modded PlayStation, and he had like one of them big ass books. Of like flip through the page and page. It's all games. It's all burnt.
Okay.
I want one of those. Excuse my French.
Okay.
I'm like, man, I want one of those. So, never happened, unfortunately.
So you never got to get the PS1?
Never got to get the PS1, but there is a happy ending to that part. So I moved back home to Canada.
Okay.
I'm from Toronto originally.
Okay.
and I brought my N64 back. I ended up moving here to the east coast of Canada, and basically I got with a girl and ended up losing that console. A couple years of hardship ended up happening between her and I. We ended up not staying together, and anyways, I needed a distraction. I'm like, I need to get back into gaming because, man, I miss gaming. So I got a PS2.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
And then, so I ended up getting a whole bunch of PS1 games that I ended up
Backwards
wanting
compatible?
and missing out on.
Yeah.
Exactly, you know. So I did that with the PS2 as well. Ended up having my place broken into, and everything got stolen.
Oh man, you know, it just seems like when things are going good, like god damn, bro.
So I was just like, all right, well, enough of this. Screw this noise. I'm done with gaming. A couple more years later go by, I go into college and for graphic design. And one of the videos that we had to do was make a video game commercial in Premiere Pro. So I was like, okay, cool. So they partnered me up with this guy who was an Xbox fan.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh, man, you know, Xbox, like, what do they got? Like, there's just Halo. Anyways, he showed me Gears of War.
Oh,
like,
the 360, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's different. That game,
Yeah.
that game hits different.
That converted me. So I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna get a 360 because the PS3 was stupid expensive. Stupid expensive here, and it was
like
a year later.
$700 or $800 in Canada, right?
Something like that with the
ridiculous.
conversion, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was in college at the time, so that wasn't happening. And I skipped the GameCube. Yeah, no, it's not happening. I skipped the GameCube altogether because by the time it came out, my testicles dropped, and I was just like, no, I'm not a kid no more. So screw that. The Wii U was, you know, it was kind of neat, but I was like, whatever, you know. So I stuck with the 360 for a bit, and then I heard that you could hack the ever living crap out of the OG one. I'm like, really? So I picked up an OG one, and I threw like a 320 gig hard drive in it, and I had the whole library like on there. So I was like, all right, you know, Xbox is cool. You know, you can hack their stuff pretty easily.
Oh yeah, the OG Xbox. Yeah, you could get a modded Xbox, and then you put a game in, and it will record the like it will download like record the game or burn the game. It will burn the game onto your hard drive.
You can transfer it from your computer over onto the Xbox itself. You know, without having to like burn discs or anything like that. So I mean, and to be honest, it is a fairly good media player. You know, if you want like a DVD player or something like that. So had that going for it. But after I graduated, moved back to Toronto, and a buddy of mine had a PS3, and like it was just around the beginning when the PS3 first came out, so they didn't figure out the cell processor all that well.
Yeah.
So the games didn't look all that great. Like there was like Burnout Paradise and a couple other games that we were comparing, and it's like, man, you should get 360. And he's like, no, man, PlayStation. I'm like, all right, whatever. So a few years goes by, the Xbox One gets announced, and you remember the announcement to that, right?
Yeah, believe me. Sports.
TV,
yeah.
connect.
The most, yeah. I don't think anyone would ever forget that.
Super intrusive DRM policies as well, but I digress. So I seen all that, and I was just like, you know what, F this poop. I'm going back to PlayStation. So I sold everything I had. I had 9 Xbox 360s, all of them modded, some of them JTagged, some of them RGH hacked. Like they were hacked to the max, like jailbroken.
Okay.
And I switched over. I got 2 PS3s. I got a jailbroken one because, you know, you can do a lot of cool stuff on it. And I have a legit one that I play online with. And yeah, so basically PS4 came out. I got that. Went right day one. Been there ever since. Picked up an Xbox One off of a friend of mine like about a year later just because, you know, she won it from work and she needed money. And I wanted an Xbox because Scalebound was a thing.
Oh shit!
Oh, he said the word. He said the word, Porter Rock. He said the word.
My man said
So
the pain.
Yeah, and then I was like, well, there's Rise, and that was a rising failure. So
Rising failure.
Needless to say, I got rid of that in like a couple of years, and I just pretty much been on the PlayStation side. I got a Series X, but I mean, I've used it like 3 times in the last, January after launch.
But Game Pass has over 400 games for only $1.
Yeah, but they're all on PlayStation Plus.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Here we
Oh.
go. Oh, here we go. All right. Appreciate it.
And
Oh, go ahead.
And I mean, to be fair, I mean, yes, you got Forza Horizon. It's decent, but I've already gone through it. And
plus racing
I mean,
games are trash anyway, so I don't blame you not liking that.
well,
No, I'm playing.
I mean, you play one, you play them all, but you know, you got to entertain the prospect.
All right. All right. Hey, appreciate it, man. That's a good throwback. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for rocking by.
Thank you.
We're gonna get through. All right. So we're gonna get through with the topics. All right. But first, we got Junos23. What's up, Rock? Loving the Lies of P podcast. I like it. I like that name. I might do something separate. The Lies of P Rock. That's fantastic. I love it. Thank you for rocking out. But we're gonna kick off with the first topic. Apparently, Gamescom is dog shit. Trash.
You forgot to introduce everybody
Oh
else.
shit! What am I doing? Yeah, you know what? How rude of me. You know, it's like you're my
So
brothers.
rude, man.
You know, you're like my brothers already. You know, it's like you guys are just always there. But you know, you're right. We're gonna start from the top. Call me Jay, my brother.
No, I already introduced, bro. You're way behind.
All right, Cloak.
Yeah.
We did it. Cloak. What's great? Didn't I go through everybody? I went through everybody.
Yeah, you just Jay Barry. Jay Barry just came in.
Oh, it's Jay Barry. Yeah, you can man. I'm like, I know. Listen, I know my PTSD kind of acts up, but I knew. I'm like, wait a minute. I could have sworn.
Fuck, I guess I got PTSD,
yeah,
bro.
like
I'm
I
crazy.
could have
then.
sworn. I'm like, wait a minute. This is deja vu. I'm like, hold on. You know what I'm saying? And so we got Jay Breezy, the best lisp.
Yo, P-Rock. I don't need no intro, man.
Yeah, that's it. Everybody know who you are.
I'm changing the topic, P-Rock. I'm
Oh.
going right to that DualSense Edge
Oh,
because I
shit.
know you and you know me.
Oh shit! He wasn't.
shit.
He
You
said-
know me and I know you,
he
but
said-
I know you more than you know me, and you know we gonna get that DualSense Edge day one, P-Rock.
Shit, man. I guess forget it then. Let me just talk about the DualSense Edge then. He's like, he ain't trying to wait. He ain't trying to wait.
P-Rock, we getting that day one, P-Rock.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. I'm getting it day one.
That's it. Boy,
I'm not lying. I don't know why, but listen. I already saw like just the phrase DualSense Edge, and I was like, yeah, I'm a copy. And I didn't even see it yet. I was like, yeah, I'm copying it. But hey,
I was at the edge of my seat.
Let me show the image to the crowd. So you go courtesy of IGN. Man, this is a big ass fucking poster. I gotta shrink it now. Give me a second. Make it smaller. Here we go. Customizable. Here we go. There you go. Boom.
Oh,
Boom.
slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely. We're getting there. Boom. Here we go. Look at that. Right there. Bow. All right, so we'll start with Jay Barry because he's excited. Yo, what makes you, Jay Barry, what makes you excited about this over the $300 controller you already have?
you know why? Because this is something that I've been asking PlayStation to do for like years now. When it comes to all these pro controllers that I've bought throughout the years, I have like about 5 of these things, even more than that.
Yeah.
I have about like 4 scuffs. I have Astro C40s. I have Nikon. That Nikon one was pretty nice, but I gave that one away eventually. But yo, I have them. I have a whole bunch of these pro controllers. I'm like, yo, when PlayStation is actually going to actually create one and do the one them own, because I'm a type of dude. I like when companies have licensed brands that they actually do themselves. You know what I mean? It just those products normally just work best with their own devices. Like I'm like that with cell phones too. Like, you know what I mean? Like if it's not Apple branded or licensed, I don't buy it. You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this pro controller, it looks like they took a lot of not even like criticism, I guess the feedback to heart, because everything that we wanted, or pretty much what I wanted from a PlayStation actual pro controller, they're actually delivering here. The only thing I have like a slight hesitation with is how the back buttons are placed. And when I'm holding the DualSense, I'm like, okay, it could make sense. I can see why they placed it right here. But I'm so used to just having like a longer paddle or something like that when it comes to these controllers. But other than that, man, I'm excited for it, because this is what I've been waiting for the longest. And I'm surprised at Gamescom, out of all things, you know what I mean? This announcement was here. So yeah, man, I'm waiting. I can't wait for this, man. I'm excited.
You think that their first launch is just gonna be this white controller, or do you think they're gonna have multiple controllers ready? Like
Listen,
ready?
yo, you stole it right from me right there, P. Rock. They will be stupid if they only gonna deliver a white control. Maybe probably at launch, but if they don't have all the colors and get exotic and crazy or customized like the shells and everything, they will be stupid not to have that stuff ready to go. Like a month after or something after this launch.
Because that's really what I'm waiting for. Like I know I joke about getting day one. I'm really gonna wait till because I want to buy another controller, but I want a different color. I don't want the same white color. So now that they have this Pro, I'll buy this controller, but I want maybe like the cosmic blue.
Oh, no, I know what you're saying. But the thing is, like, you can swap out the controller colors if you want, like on your own thing. But is it going to be like a own little swap out color for that controller? You know what I mean? And it's a PlayStation brand. It might be like Amazon. You can probably do it because I've broken up my DualSense and I customized mine personally too. Like build my own back paddles and put it on there.
Oh, you took yours apart?
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that twice so far with my DualSenses. But yeah, I think it will be smart for them to have that day. It would be great to have it day one or probably like a month after. To be honest with you, but
they're gonna have this ready for Call of Duty.
Yeah, hopefully it drop this year, bro. Hopefully it drop this year, man. Because I don't know what PlayStation. If they drop this next year, you want people to buy VR. You wanted to buy.
Yeah, they're doing too much. Like how much shit? Like buy monitors and shit. Like what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of shit you want us to buy.
Not wrong.
All right.
But where the games at? Where the games? Okay, but we'll get that. We'll talk about it in a later topic.
We'll go about that. All right. Since we're on the edge, we're gonna start from the. All right. So here we go. We got Kratos99. He dropping the 50 because he loves us. He ain't saying nothing. He's just like he just passing by, drop a 50, and he kept it moving. He's like, you keep doing your thing, young bloods.
Yeah, it fell out of his pocket. He just kept walking.
You know what I'm saying? And Jay Barry put his foot on it and pretending that it's not there. Shout out to Kratos, man. Thank you so much for the love. Neo Wise. He says, those PS symbols on the touchpad looking fuego. Facts. You know what I'm saying? It's facts. All right. Thank you so much. So we'll start from the top. Let's get the guest in. Hey, real generic Eric. So you cover PlayStation stuff. What do you think about this DualSense Edge? You thinking, this was a good idea? Or do you thinking this is just another thing of PlayStation following Xbox footstep? No originality? Of course, I got to start a little trouble. What do you think? You excited?
Well, quite frankly, if Sony didn't do it, somebody else would.
Okay.
To Jay's point, yeah, they definitely need to do some colors because, I got a black one and, just wouldn't look right. My only concern is, and it's not just PlayStation that I'm saying this, but drifting.
Oh.
Those analog sticks need to be good, especially if they're going to be at a premium price. You don't want to have to replace it after, 5-6 months. Now, I get the parts are interchangeable. I'm kind of hoping that those analog sticks are going to be interchangeable and completely replaceable. Modular, I guess is the technical term.
Okay. Good point. I like this guest already.
But like I said, if Sony isn't gonna do it, someone else is gonna do it, and Scuff's already on it. You know that.
No.
You got your Xbots out there that are gonna be like, oh well, they're just copying Microsoft. Well, you know what? I'm sure Microsoft's copying off of somebody else. So it's the snake eating the tail when it comes to that.
Okay.
But I'm all for it. I'm kind of curious what the price is. I'm definitely gonna get it. It just depends on whether those analog sticks are going to be addressed. Now, with that being said, I'm kind of hoping it's going to be those new analog sticks that were patented. I don't know if you heard about it, but apparently you're going to be able to get the haptic feedback in the new sticks.
Oh, right. You think these? I'm trying to look. I'm looking at the PlayStation blog. I'm trying to see.
I think Jason Schreier covered it, or Jeff Grubb.
So here's some bullet points.
A while back, but
here's some bullet points. The DualSense Edge wireless controller features a number of hardware and software-based customization options for creating a completely personalized controller experience, including ultra customizable controls. You can make the DualSense Edge wireless controller uniquely yours by remapping or deactivating specific buttons inputs and fine-tuning your aim by adjusting the stick sensitivity and dead zones. In parentheses, it says the distance your analog stick moves before it's recognized in game. In addition, each trigger is adjustable with options to tailor travel distance and dead zones to your preference. For example, you can manually reduce travel distance of your triggers for faster inputs in competitive FPS games, or reduce the dead zones for precise throttle control in racing games. All right. Next is ability to save multiple control profiles. Once you found your ideal control settings, you can save them to your unique profiles and swap them between them on the fly. With the DualSense Edge wireless controller, you'll always have your preferred controls for your games ready to go, whether you're facing Norse gods and monsters in God of War Ragnarok or rival players in an online battle royale. On controller user interface, the dedicated FN button. Oh, that's funny. Now, for some reason, I just thought of Zaire. The dedicated FN, yeah, like those two letters will never be the same again. The dedicated FN button allows you to easily adjust your setup while staying focused on the in-game action. Quickly swap between your preset control profiles, adjust game volume and chat balance, and access the controller profile settings menu to set up and test new control iterations while in-game. Changeable stick caps and back buttons. 3 types of swappable stick caps: standard, high dome, and low dome. Help you stay comfortable in game while maintaining grip and stability. The 2 swappable sets of back buttons, half dome and lever, can be configured to be any other button input, putting more essential controls at your fingertips. Replaceable stick modules. Play longer with the ability to fully replace each individual stick module on the controller. Replacement stick modules will be sold separately. So the module, you think that's what you were talking about, Eric, about for drifting?
Yeah, because I have a couple of controllers that I customize, just like what Jay was mentioning, and about like 2 months after that, I noticed drifting on both of the controllers.
But then
so I opened them up.
Yeah, and you replaced the whole stick.
Yeah, I basically would have to like desolder them and resolder new analog sticks. And I mean, I've never done it. It'll be a good experiment, but...
So what if Sony noticed that, and their answer is these replaceable stick modules, where they know, okay, there's some stick drift, which is probably inherent. I don't know. Maybe it's inherent to today's stick design. So now, here, just buy a whole new module, and then just insert it, and they make it easier instead of soldering or desoldering stuff. You think that would be a good thing?
I mean, I'm happy that they're actually making it a modular analog stick.
Okay.
But iFixit did a video today actually on analog stick drift, and there's a different type of sticks that they could be using that are magnetic that don't wear away.
Oh, so use a better quality stick versus.
That's what I mentioned in the other podcast. It's like it doesn't use sensors; it uses magnets to detect how far and how close the magnets are between each other, and it'll send that signal to the game.
Okay.
So,
and that's the better way.
Yeah. Yo, you also got to check which like model controller DualSense you have. If you're having drifting issues, you probably got the first batch of DualSenses where like that FCC ID number, it ends with like a 1. The ones that don't have the drifting or the drifting issue is the ones that end with the A instead of the 1. So just make sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say those were
both mines end with a 1.
Yeah, those.
I mean, you got like the first. That was the first batch of DualSenses.
These controllers.
I got
dog
launch
shit.
controllers.
Nah, I haven't got stick drifting though. But then again, I don't play a lot of multiplayer competitive. I haven't played a lot, so I haven't wore these controllers out competitively.
I'm a trophy hunter.
Yeah. All right, and what else? We got built-in DualSense wireless controller features. The DualSense Edge wireless controller retains the signature comfort and immersive experience of the DualSense wireless controller when playing supported games, including haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, built-in microphone, motion controls, and more. Well, obviously, we didn't think you were going to take that away. Okay, all right. So far, I'm only seeing the white controller. They haven't shown. It's probably only going to launch white, and maybe later on down the line, different colors. I really wish they would have just launched with. I think they would have gotten even more sales if they would have just already had a full lineup of colors to pick from. All
They
right.
could just be gauging demand first.
Okay, true. That is true, because depending how much. So we'll go down. So we got. So call me Jay. We got your opinion on this. Nope.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say besides the Jay Bari and the guests already mentioned most of the good points.
Okay.
The only things that I can really say about something Jay Bari mentioned about the paddles on the back, you did mention, Proto Rock, that those come in those little knobs and also in like paddles as well.
Yeah.
So you can replace those
Levers, yeah. They
So
said
what-
levers.
yeah, levers. Wouldn't that solve that issue you were having? Because you're used to having them more close to like the grip, and then be.
Oh,
paddles,
they-
right?
that's
they
what
said
Jay
it was
Bari-
going to have the
Levers.
actual paddle too.
Yeah, it says.
I think so.
It said
And even then, right? Even then, it's like let's say that's the only like way that you can use them right now. I wouldn't be surprised if a company makes like a little paddle system that you can
third
clip
party.
onto those guys, and then have.
Oh yeah, like the
custom
only reason why I said like I'm a little hesitant there is like I never used a Pro controller like that with that button layout. But when I do hold
Right.
the DualSense, it kind of makes sense where is that how ergonomically the DualSense is. My
Yeah.
fingers like are placed there, so
Yeah, like
it's
your
just
index
something I
fingers
gotta
should touch
get
that.
in my hand.
It says right
Yeah.
here
Right.
is 2 swappable sets of back buttons. So the back buttons are swappable. One is half dome, which is probably what we're seeing.
Which is that? Yeah, a half
and,
dome.
And then it says lever.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it
so the
probably will
lever,
have-
the lever is
it'll
there.
be paddles.
Okay, so that's
And then the other thing I want to mention is about the sticks. So I like that they are making it so you can swap them. That just means more money for them because
Yeah.
there's a reason why they don't use magnetic analog sticks. Is because they make money off
Oh.
of people breaking their sticks and buying more controllers.
of course.
I do like that you can swap them, and it also means that they could potentially sell you like let's say the cheapest version of the Pro controller, which is probably this, and then in the store you can actually buy like more at high quality or those magnetic sticks separately and put them in the controller yourself. You're just paying like a more premium price rather than the whole controller be like the absolute premium. The things that are swappable can be sold with the same stick, same paddles, whatever, and then in their store you buy like the premium version of that will last you for a long time.
Okay.
So that's about it.
All right. Okay. Cloak, what do you think about this? Or you don't give a shit because it's not mouse and keyboard.
No, no, because I play all my games with an Xbox controller. I feel like it's good for PlayStation to actually have like their own Elite controller, just like Xbox. But I guarantee you it'll be built built better because the Elite 2 has the issue with the right bumper, and then I think it was the Y button as well. Having issues with there, and it's like all Elite Series 2 controllers. So hopefully the Elite 3 will be better, but no word yet on that. But
Okay.
I do like the fact that PlayStation is actually doing replaceable thumbsticks. That is a huge. I'm not even sure if Microsoft will actually do that.
No, they don't. You can only swap out the plastic on like the stick, so you can't swap out the whole module.
Yeah, but with the if they make the Elite Series 3, I don't think that they will do replaceable sticks.
Oh, you think they still won't do it?
I don't think they will do it now. The only downside I would see to the PlayStation 5 or to the PS5 controller is the fact that you can't swap the D-pad and the thumbstick.
Oh, to switch them in place. Like
Yeah.
the Xbox
Yeah,
can
so
do that, right?
If they do that, it will look ugly. No, the Xbox doesn't do that
Oh,
either.
doesn't
It just
either.
you can replace the top of it, so you can have it so it's like a circular thing, or it could be like an actual D-pad looking one, right? But I get what he's saying, and it's a really good idea that you could. And I get what he's saying. It might suck that Microsoft wouldn't do the whole swapping whole sticks with the Elite 3. And I think so too, because it's just how the shell of the controller looks like. If they were to make it so you can do that, they would have to like carve a hole on where the sticks go and you just pull them out of there. Whereas the PlayStation is more elegant because they can just pull out that black glossy piece, and then that's how you pull the sticks out. There's a controller that lets you swap. They let you swap the orientation of the sticks and the D-pad, and you can literally just see that they just have to make a whole carve up a line all around the controller just so that you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, they would have to change the entire look of the PS5 controller in order for that to work.
Same with the Xbox, yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Neo Wise says if the Edge is cheaper than the Elite 2 controller, it's going to be the next PC gaming controller as well, like how the DualSense is selling well on PC.
Oh yeah, it already is. I'm using the Elite Series 2 on PC right now. I'm actually playing Destiny 2 right now.
Okay, with
it.
With the Elite 2?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Project, what do you think about this?
Well, yeah. So we probably should mention that this was one of the early announcements in Opening Night Live for GamesCom.
Oh, okay.
So it was, I think, the third announcement that they made.
So we're gonna get into the segue. So you're already leading up, preparing us. All right, that's a good way. This is good. That's how we're gonna do it. So go ahead.
Yeah. Do you need me to start transitioning now?
Yeah. You know what? Sure. Transition. You're already kicking it off. Why not?
We got so close to talking about it, and it's like, oh no, we're going this other direction.
Yeah, Jay Barry ruined it for you. He's like, I don't give a damn what y'all gonna talk about. We talking about the DualSense.
Yeah, I think it's a cool announcement.
All right.
Am I planning on buying it? Probably not. But I don't know. Did they announce a price on that or no?
No, I have not seen a price.
No.
That's a good question. So let's start there. What do you think? How much do you think this is gonna cost?
I don't even know how much the DualSense by itself costs.
I think
so
70?
I couldn't even.
$70.
$70. So
Okay.
that's the baseline.
I think the Elite was what, $200, right? Something like $150.
How much is the Elite?
I think it's
It
$150.
was-
the Elite 2.
I don't think it was that much. I thought it was 300. No, it's not 300.
It was $180
For the Elite
yes.
for the Elite 2. Yes, on the Xbox website.
2? Okay, so $180 for the Elite 2, $70 for the PS5 DualSense. Let's start with Project. What's your guess? Well, I'll start from the top. We'll start from the top. Call me Jay. What do you
Yeah, I'll
think?
be quick. So I think it'll be just 150 or
150.
200. It won't match the Xbox controller. And another thing I want to say is that the reliability of the Elite controllers are absolute garbage. Everybody that owns one has said that they're bad, except for Xbox fanboys. So I really hope that Sony does a really good job with the reliability of their controller.
All right.
So yeah, it's like 150 or 200.
Okay.
You either go over or under.
The over-under for Call Me Jay's 150 200. 200. Cloak, what do you think?
I'm gonna have to agree with Call Me Jay on that one. I think that'll be around that price range.
Okay. All right. Jay Barry, what do you think? The king of controllers.
Hey, yo, y'all are crazy if you think this is going to be 150. You looking at 200, 250 for this controller.
Shit, God.
Man, this controller comes out at
PlayStation.
400 and he buys it
God,
400.
shit, God,
Bruh,
man, Jay
PlayStation
Barry,
has a control. Their base controller is $70.
Oh,
Their
Jay-
color controller is like $75, $80.
oh,
You
shit.
think that their pro controller
Yes.
with all these modular and customizations
Yes.
is going to be 150?
Yes.
Crazy.
It
I mean,
might.
he makes a good point. He makes a good point.
I mean, hell, we're paying.
It's going to be
anyway.
the minimum is going to be 200, but I'm guessing it's going to be like 250.
Damn, 250, and then PSVR is
That's
like
crazy.
500, 600. Oh man, Sony's killing
Yeah,
us.
and you get a month of PS Plus as well.
Damn, PlayStation's like the Bugatti of gaming. Like, what the hell's going on here? I woke up to a new Bugatti. That's what it feels like.
When you buy this controller, right, and you turn it on, it says "Hello, Puerto Rock."
Shit,
It
bro.
recognizes you.
That shit better give me
Yeah.
fucking access to Roof Chris every night. Oh shit, that shit's crazy. Project Cloud. What's your price range? What you think?
I think we're looking at a sweet inflation adjusted 270.
Damn. God,
This guy, I
Puerto Rock's face.
I don't know why this dude is smoking. This dude's on that hashish. No, oh, she's at 70. Man, that ain't gonna.
God damn.
That's a good. Oh shit. Oh shit. Maybe as a down payment, you could put down 70.
I
Yeah,
just
get
got-
2 jobs.
Yeah, you
Get 2
gotta-
jobs to afford
Yeah.
one.
You know,
I just dropped $300 on 2 collector's editions. All that for 1 controller.
oh shit.
Ah, shit.
Jeez.
Man, you guys are rolling, caking, bro. You guys are caking. I got the most elite.
Remember, it's the DualSense.
Yeah. Ooh.
Sense.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Dual sense.
Spidey
It's
sense.
sense. It's not
Yeah,
sense.
you got to remember too that this controller is going to have all the DualSense features plus
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
So I don't know where y'all getting 150 from with a pro controller. That's crazy.
Right.
Like the Elite, the Elite controller in Xbox, it doesn't have the DualSense stuff. So you know what I mean. Of course, you're gonna hit a 180. Right. There's no way this controller is gonna be cheaper than the Elite 2. Y'all motherfuckers are crazy in this chat. Yeah, I see the chat. I'm guessing 150. Okay. You are high as hell if you thinking that. Or you setting yourself up for disaster or failure.
No, they're doing it.
So you can go on Twitter and get upset.
Yeah, that's exactly. Let me speak. They're gonna go on your space, Maury. Let me speak.
He brings up a really good point because the best thing that the Elite does is swapping things out. It doesn't really do anything special. You just swap things out and then you have presets with paddles. So Jay Barry makes a lot of sense. I can see it 200 or up.
All right.
Ryan Lanes makes a good point. He says, I hope it has a better battery, and I hope it does too, man.
Oh shit.
You guys are way off, and I'll tell you why.
Eric, what price are you saying?
$129.99 US, and here's why.
Oh shit.
Under 30?
Those parts are cheap. An analog stick is 50 cents. A set of buttons is $2. Okay, you break it all down, the controller costs them basically about $50 a manufacturer. Not to mention they're going to want to come in at a lower price point than Microsoft. They're also going to want to push the features of this controller with them pushing all these PC ports of PlayStation games over to PC systems. So, worst comes to worst, they'll take a bit of a loss on the controller, but they'll make it up in software sales on PC.
I can tell you, they are not going to take a loss.
I disagree hardcore.
That's like the complete opposite.
It's a peripheral.
Yeah, they expect peripherals to make up for the loss of the hardware. So they use peripherals, subscriptions, games, all that shit to help offset the loss of the hardware.
But
he still brings up good points. Sorry, go ahead.
They're trying to what?
Yeah, no. Like you bring up really, really good points, and I would agree with you. But it's I
agree with the parts.
The loss is with the console, not with the peripherals. Yeah.
I agree.
Like they want to make back their money. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I agree with all your points on how cheap it is. The only problem is people tend to forget that a lot of those cost savings are not generally passed on to the consumer. That just gives them a bigger margin of profit per that. Like I don't see them worrying about making the Pro controller the number one controller being sold out there. If anything, I would think this is going to be for like the elite niche gamers who really want to be competitive players. Because really, are people going to be buying this if they only want to play Spider-Man and Ghost of Tsushima and all that stuff? They're probably not interested. These people.
No, but it's going to work.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, but I think this controller is going to be more for the competitive minded or hardcore gamer. And I think Sony knows, I think everybody knows across every platform, those type of gamers are willing to spend the $200 for these type of controllers. And not so much worry about the people who are like, I'm not going to spend that much. Well, then this controller's not for you. Just go buy a regular DualSense. And then there you go.
Yeah, like the scuffs are like more than $200. I'm looking at it right now. They're $220 and $250 each. So...
But brother, I hope you're right, though. I hope you're right. I hope it is $129. You will get props on this channel. I'd be like generic Eric called it Jay Barry. You know what I'm saying? Put some respect on his name. But I'm thinking Jay Barry's right though. I think.
Well, here's another thing to think about. How much is that headset that you're using right now?
Oh, this headset, this was $99.
Right, so it's still gonna be more.
Yeah, this was $99. So, but I think
Sony,
I don't think I wouldn't put.
Yeah, and
it's a
they
good
got
headset.
their pro headset. For $300.
Yeah. The new headset, right? How much is the new headset?
The H9's the one I have has all the features that the one that P-Rod has, but more, and that's $300. Yeah. So y'all thinking this has gonna be? I mean, this controller gonna be $129 or $150? I don't know about that one.
See what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna combine certain numbers. It's gonna be $179.99.
The thing about the PlayStation controllers,
Jay Barry just stood quiet. He's like, yeah, whatever the fuck.
The thing about the PS4,
real talk, if it's 150, 180, I wouldn't be upset. I'm just thinking
it's not realistic.
You're being realistic.
Yeah, I just want to be outraged so I could talk shit when you and Persona have a space, and the controller's not 129. So I heard from a reliable source it was 129. This is bullshit.
Yo, go PlayStation look at it like this. They like, yo, we etched the PlayStation symbols into the touchpad. We put that gloss on the little shell casing. All these removable parts. 180. You all PlayStation go like, yo, y'all crazy.
Here's the thing about the PS5 though. The PS5, it has like I don't know what it is, but you cannot use any third-party controller with PS5 games. It can only be licensed or the official controller. It doesn't let you use a PS4 controller with a PS5 game, and they're doing this to prevent people from using like those little devices you can plug in a keyboard and mouse and shooters and whatnot. So there's not a lot of like third-party controllers that work on PS5, and the ones that there are either too expensive or look too bulky.
Like
so I can see why they're
controllers, right?
Huh?
Like the SCUF controllers.
Yeah, the SCUF controllers are super expensive. All the ones that I'm seeing are very expensive. So I can see them tackling those by this controller being a little bit cheaper, maybe it's a little bit more expensive. I don't know, but it's
I got the SCUF right now. This was like $200. This is $199.
Yeah, so you're gonna get the quality of PlayStation and the grip and the feel of a PlayStation controller. Maybe it'll be a little cheaper than a SCUF controller so that it competes with those controllers in particular. But it's mainly because they have that system where you cannot use any controller you want on a PS5 game. It has to have that little chip to recognize the controller, because they're doing that to prevent cheaters in games and such like that.
Okay. All right. So let's get to the bigwigs, and I'm gonna kick it off with Project Cloud. Talk to us about GamesCom.
All I can say is, man, I was impressed with the show. So, especially the first 4 announcements.
This guy capped so hard on
Yep.
the most dog.
You were
shit
impressed?
stuff, bro.
Yes.
All
Okay.
right. Tell us what's so impressive. Drop some knowledge.
Oh,
How did the show kick
so
off?
Yeah, so big first announcement was Everywhere. That's a game that's been announced for quite a while, but basically no news on it. So that's from the ex-Rockstar dev, Leslie Benzies. I think his company called Build a Rocket Boy or something like that.
Oh, that's the one? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
So the game is called Nowhere?
Everywhere.
Oh, Everywhere, my bad. Because I thought this game is going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? No, West. So what's it about? What's it about?
Here's the thing: when they showed the initial footage, it's like, well, that kind of looks like Fortnite. That kind of looks like, I don't know, a little bit of No Man's Sky in a different Fortnite-esque skin. But no, I was like, that's a little disappointing. But then there's a twist at the end where they actually show something with like realistic graphics. You know, something that you'd expect probably from Rockstar. I mean, it's
like
super brief, yeah. But they're like, but this game is literally built for like every gamer. Is what they're saying. Like, if you're a gamer, like, we have a version for you. It's not even really a game. It's like a gaming platform.
Yeah. So it's think of GTA Online, but with a much bigger scope and more forward thinking. Like, when I saw it for the first time, I forgot about Everywhere, and I thought it was just like an NFT project. Honestly, that's what it looked like. But when you mentioned Leslie Benzies, I remember now, and yeah, I totally see this game being something freaking massive. So it's like this big plot of world, and you can just make your own stuff in it, basically. So it'll be a game that has a bunch of tools for you to create your own things, similar to Fortnite.
Hey, yo, Jay Barry, does this sound like an Xbox stench game to me? Create your own fun type shit.
Yeah, create your own fun.
That's what create your own fun type shit. Like.
Hey, we don't want to develop the game. We have the community help us.
It's not just that. No.
Like, what's going on? Yeah,
it has that, but it's for the PlayStation gamer and the Xbox gamer simultaneously.
How?
Oh shit!
Because the game is just that gigantic, and it's like it's literally called Everywhere for a reason. Like, you can go anywhere, any genre, any art style, any gameplay type. Like, it's gonna have it. I mean,
what do you do?
Look, we need to see it in action, right? But if you want to play your story-driven, narrative adventure, it's going to have that. If you want to play something Fortnite-like, it's going to have that. Presumably something like real-time strategy, it's going to have that. It's going to have like a... what?
It's a very ambitious scope, and it's not something that we've really seen aside from Fortnite. But Fortnite didn't start as a platform; it became one. So it's a hard concept to understand. Even I don't really believe in it, honestly, because I think it's just too much. But I don't know. It's
Hey,
like
yo, that shit sound like the Oasis from
Yes.
basically.
I know I heard this bullshit fucking tag before.
Ready Player One, yo. That's what it sounds like.
What the fuck are we doing here? Like, yo, I'll be honest, man. I'm always weary about games with no focus. Like, that's all it sounds to me. It's like, we're gonna do all of it. Like, are you gonna do this?
I agree.
Yes. Are you gonna do
When
this?
I heard
yes. Like,
when I heard her talk, I was like, I'm not convinced because you're just saying you can do everything. That means we can't do shit then. So I just give me a focus. I want to see what you actually do in the game. And they didn't answer that question.
all right.
So
and obviously, like, it's definitely a wait and see for sure. But like, if it's what they talk about, like, imagine it. Okay, here's a pretty good analogy. The PlayStation Store. Pick a game. There's something for you. Like, that's sort of what they're talking about with this game. Like, when is this supposed to come out? Next year? Next year, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, next year.
See, what's weird is, though, this game's supposed to be everything for everyone, but what is it? Oh, you want like, let's say you want third-person action RPG. It has it. Okay, so what's the plot behind it?
Check.
I don't know.
Check.
What?
It'll be there.
Yeah, but how? What?
Magic.
The thing is, the question that Proto Rock is trying to answer, and I'm trying to understand too, is like, yes, there are the tools. The tools are there, but like, what's the purpose of me using those tools?
Like
why
am I supposed to make it?
No, I think
I'm supposed to create.
I think you're missing the point. No. Like, it definitely has the creation side too, but no, the way they're saying it, and again, I need to see it because it's a big promise, right? You know, the gaming industry has had all kinds of things that haven't turned out to be what was initially promised. Right. No, like, you're going to be able to have a Sony single-player game in there that's already there available to play. Not like we're going to create one. No, for you to play.
Yeah. At the end of the showcase, they showed off a little bit of cinematics or like a cutscene, and they're like, yes, we're gonna make our own single player, like, narrative driven thing, but it'll also have like this big scope of, I don't fucking know.
What is it, like 40 minutes?
Yeah, we got to see it, right?
No, here's my thing.
And not only that, it needs to come out. Like,
here's the thing,
it's just so crazy.
Wait, so this game is like a MMO?
No. Yes.
I don't even.
Yes.
That and more.
Yes.
It's a platform.
Like, pick
Think
a
of
game.
a platform.
So are you paying monthly for
yes.
it, or is it?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No,
every answer is yes.
We don't know. We don't. Oh, okay. Yeah.
if you could think it's a yes. Well, it does it all.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if the creator figures out how to do it. Like, yeah, I guess.
Here's the thing. Regardless.
But again, that's only
like. Here's my thing, right? If people be like, "Oh, you mean so I can have like a Horizon Zero Dawn in the game?" Yes. And then somebody else, but can I have like a Gears of War in it? Yes. What about like a Spider-Man? Yes. Oh, an Infamous type? Yes. A Witcher? Yes. So here's my question: who's making all of that? Because
that's what I want to know.
That's like a whole bunch of games. It's like
yo, that's not like the most expensive game ever.
But it's like taking. We're gonna take Grand Theft Auto. We're gonna take The Witcher. We're gonna take Horizon Zero Dawn. We're gonna get Gran Turismo 7, Gears of War, fucking Grounded.
You wanna know what it sounds like?
We're gonna take all these games and put in one pack, but you still have to make each game, and each game has to still be intricate and like who? How many? They had like 30,000 people. And
you know what it sounds like?
How many discs does this game come in if you get the physical edition? Like 50 disc Blu-rays? Or you have to pick the disc you want. Like, you go through a booklet. Yeah, let me go. Yeah, I'll grab this disc and load this one up.
Okay, so let me read. This is the FAQ. It says, everywhere seamlessly blends gameplay, adventure, creativity, and discovery in an all-new multi-world gaming experience that redefines how players connect with one another and with the digital world around them. This is like basically a metaverse type of shit.
Oh, so it's PlayStation Home.
It's PlayStation.
I can see that.
On drugs.
Yeah, okay. It's like, there you go. PlayStation Home.
It's a fancy
PlayStation
way.
Home.
It's a fancy way of saying PlayStation Home where you can play bowling, pool.
It's PS Home and Dreams on crack, basically.
It's a pedo playground.
At first, I thought it was like
a project. What did you? This motherfucker said that.
I ain't getting it. I will not endorse that game. That's all it's gonna be. It's gonna be a playground.
So like I'm trying to find out the pricing of this game because any game like this, you know, it's gonna be $70, and
we don't like $70.
It's gonna be like a monthly.
It's gonna be on Game Pass, bro.
It's on Game. It's some people say it's free to play.
Wait, it's free to play?
Oh, so
nah,
you know,
no way.
So you know,
I don't think so. I don't think so. I disagree.
How you guys were talking about it? You guys were talking about it? It just sounded like Project Spark.
Oh,
all game.
This man, bro.
This one on the Project Spark engine. Oh, they bought it. Oh,
yeah,
man.
no, not even the Xbox dudes mentioned that game.
Sorry, man. This game sounds
oh,
like...
they hyped it up. Oh my god, I remember when I saw that, they like hyped it up so high, and I'm like, oh yeah, this looks really, really cool. When you first get into it, you have to make everything, and like, oh, now I know how it feels like to be a developer. Nothing ever goes right.
This game sounds like it's a breeding ground for sexual deviance. I'm gonna stay away from it. You know, hide your kids, hide your wife from this game. Don't get your kid this game for Christmas.
They're being very cryptic and very like secretive about what they're actually doing, and that's what frustrates me because it's like if it's coming out next year, to tell us what the fuck it is, but they're just waiting, I guess.
Well, hang on, like it's probably end of 2023, not first half. You know what I mean?
True.
Don't do it.
Here's the thing. What not everybody realizes is that this game has been in development for like a really long time.
Yeah,
a really
this
long
game got
time.
announced. This game got announced a long time ago. It was basically, hey, Rockstar developers that left the company are making this game. That's the announcement, and that was it.
I'm your only friend. These YouTube streets don't hype this game. Don't hype it. I'm telling ya, stay away from this game. All right.
I think we're finally going to get the power of the cloud.
It's like I'm telling you, man. It's like your kid that wants to enter a Smash Brothers tournament. Don't do it, because they literally want to Smash Bros up in there. Don't do it. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Will 777. You know what I'm saying? Smash Brothers tournament actually thought they were gonna smash up in there, man.
If you look up, if you look up the teaser trailer that they showed at Gamescom, and they showed like little snippets of like all the things you can do, it looks like a platform. It's like they give you tools and then you make whatever the fuck you want to make. That's what it looks like.
This is
so it'll be that type of game.
This is what happens. We got motherfuckers making games while on opium and shit. Fucking opioid addicts and shit, man. They come out with
it's dreams shit. With better graphics and on all platforms. There you go.
Shit, Will 777.
That's what it is.
Will 777, $10 holla. He said, "Did Xbox for real get an award for most wanted game?" Question mark. Yes, they did. Shaking my head. What game? What game got it? What award they got for most wanted game?
I have no idea.
That was a really stupid like award because it didn't show any Xbox games.
What was the award?
I don't know. I forgot.
They have, yeah. So like, even when they came time for like the PlayStation Most Wanted game, it was like Liza P. Like there was no first party. Like they're talking
no
like,
PlayStation or Xbox game.
It's like, because they only count the games that's available there. That's why Gamescom. That's how Gamescom works.
It's like, what kind of a show is this? And like there's acceptance speeches and like, why is this happening?
Because the show. Okay. All right. The show is dog shit. Okay. So we started. We're starting off great. We're really starting off great there, Project Crowd. We got everywhere. All right, what's next?
What's the other one?
Oh, okay. Everywhere is a total
win. He's scared. Now he's like, wait a minute. This doesn't sound
It's a total win. Now, if you're... Here's the thing, though. Like, a show is a show. It's not a game release, okay? A game release in your hands that you can play is infinitely more valuable than a show.
Of course.
As far as, like, actual tangible things. So like you got to judge it as a show, right? If we're gonna actually be fair.
Yes.
So everywhere is a total win. Like that's a great announcement. No, the game might be trash when it releases, but you know what? I'm sorry. Right now, this is Leslie Benzies, like one of the best game designers ever. You know, he gets the benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise.
All right. So based just on the merit of what they shown, what gives you some type of excitement behind the game? Like based on what they shown.
Yeah. So the very end of the teaser is like, here's the game for Sony fans. Yep. I'm in. Thank you. And it's that simple.
That person on that last part of the clip, isn't that the guy that made the actor on Mafia 3? It looks like him, right?
No idea.
If you look up the video and you see the guy, and it looks like the guy that you play as in Mafia 3.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the second announcement?
What's the second one?
Shoot. I remembered it a second ago. So I know the third announcement was the PlayStation Pro controller.
All right.
Okay. The second one was it was really significant too. So that was the new Dune Awakening, survival MMO.
Oh.
So it was a cinematic, but it's a great looking cinematic. I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for those. Like, give me kind of that Blur Studio, really high quality cinematics. Like, yes, please.
Okay.
And that I believe is that's a next gen only PS5, Series X, PC only game.
Okay.
So yay. Again, we got to see the game, properly. But it's like what they showed in that cinematic. Oh yeah, yes, please, bring it all the way, please.
Is it a next gen though? If it's on the Series S,
it is.
Is it though?
Yes.
Is
PS5,
it though?
Series XS, and PC.
Course. I'm gonna be like Thor right now. Of course.
But it's on Series S though. So are you sure about that?
Yeah, but is it really?
What are you talking about?
I'm just messing with you, man.
What are you talking about? If it's on Series S, like it has to come. Like Microsoft mandates that the developers don't have a choice if they want to publish.
Oh, we know, but it's like is Series S really next gen?
Yes.
There we go.
They updated it.
I mean, motherfuckers made a whole steal on 9.2 T flops, but we're gonna chill with 4 T flops. I don't get it. Now I'm playing. Let's not rehash that. So let me see this right here.
Next gen. Not
this is right here.
Dune
Awakening.
Next gen. Yep, that was a great one. So PlayStation controller, again, cool stuff. Then the fourth game, if you had any doubt, like if you wanted some just pure great gameplay, like you want some pure class, Callisto Protocol, fantastic. Looks like a certain section in there reminded me a lot of kind of going to Tomb Raider, like going down a waterfall or a river or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
So, gonna be incredible. People are really sleeping on that game, even though it has a lot of hype too.
We've seen plenty of that already, though.
But here's the thing: you got more. Got more.
I do like that. It's a very. Okay. It looks like a very good. It looks like a very good and fleshed out Dead Space 3, which is good.
All right.
Yeah, Callisto, I'm gonna buy that because they give him a gun, weapons. I have a Dodge. You know what I mean? Not those stupid ass horror games where all you guys are camcorder and you have a battery life that's almost dead and everybody chasing you got chainsaw arms and all that shit. And you got to run. Yeah. But nah, I'm with this Callisto Protocol.
Got guns, right?
I'm
not really the biggest horror. Yeah, you got guns, man. You know what I mean? And you got that Dodge that's kind of smooth. I like that. You know what I mean? So, it's already pre-ordered. It's a day one for me, man.
Okay. Who else is a day one for
the grapple thing? You can grab enemies and like float them in the air and throw them all away. I don't know if it looks kind of OP because even when the enemy mutated, you would expect him to be more powerful or heavier, but you still pick him up and throw him like he's nothing. So I don't know how I feel about that.
It's just a big wait till you play the game,
Yeah.
But all I can say is, like, I really don't think people are appreciating this. But
open world survival MMO. That's what Dune.
Are you talking about the Dune now?
Yeah, Dune.
So it's a MMO.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to play.
Yeah, it is exactly. Yep.
I mean, it looks good.
I wanted to ask you. So Funcom, have they made other MMOs?
I believe so. I couldn't tell you what it was.
I can just look it up. I'm stupid.
All right.
I could literally just look it up myself.
So we got Callisto Protocol. What else? What's next? What else?
Oh, but before we move on from that, I just want to say, like, the level of polish that you're getting in that game is just absolutely superb. And it's still, it's still a work in progress, but it's like you could just tell, like. And I also think just the number of times it's been shown. They had the true, I think, initial gameplay debut at Summer Game Fest, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you had the cinematic trailer, the Game Awards, like 2020, 2021, whenever that was. No, it actually might have been 2019. Anyway.
Right. Hey, got a super chat. Someone has a grievance against you, Project. Andrew Wilkins. He says, Project Cloud. He wants your attention.
Shit.
He says, you don't have to play lawyer for Failsoft. Series S ain't next gen, and Failsoft is forever in last place. They can't manage anything. So enough with the free pro bono work. He's done. He's tired. He don't want to see you. All right? They ain't hire you, so cut it out.
All right.
Now I'm
I'm pushing back now because
Oh.
I'm pushing back on the PlayStation, guys who are like, yeah, y'all are nuts. PlayStation guys are nuts. Xbox guys are nuts. Nintendo guys are nuts. PC guys are nuts. Y'all nuts.
Everybody's nuts.
You gotta be on you gotta get on the straight and narrow island, baby.
Project Cloud. Ever since we introduced him to this world, he's like, you know what? You guys are fucking crazy. I ain't fucking with y'all.
Gamers, you stupid. Get out of
here. There you go.
Oh, snap.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
What was I even saying?
All right.
So far, that does sound like a bad show.
Oh, man. All right. What's the next one? Yeah, Gamescom really sounds like a banger.
For me, it is.
All right, of course. And then you know what? And your truth is the only truth that matters.
I won't say it that way, but I'll say
Everybody was quiet. Everybody just took quiet.
So, like,
what?
You got 2 banger announcements. You got a nice controller.
Okay.
You got some smooth polish on that Callisto, baby.
Okay.
And then here's the thing.
What else?
There were so many new IPs like they showed like for the first time during the show that I couldn't even tell you the names of most of them.
Most of them said they were indie. I heard there's a Lords of the Fallen sequel.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm a little excited for that. I forgot about that.
That game looks sick.
Yeah, I don't care about that one, but I think that's a banger announcement for the show.
Okay.
But I'll tell you the one
Monkey Island.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Skip that shit.
He says skip.
I'm skipping that too, but I think that's a win for the show.
All right.
I was in the bathroom.
All right. The Outlast Trials. That horror game Outlast.
Okay.
But this is multiplayer though, isn't it?
Is it? Is it?
Yeah, I think Trials is multiplayer.
Okay. I guess they moved up the Gotham Knights release date. It is now October 21st.
That's another win for the show.
They're trying to stay away from Kratos.
Reveal
that. It is. They're scared of Kratos.
It went gold a couple weeks ago too, so if there's any issues, they can just patch it.
Okay. That's true.
The weird thing is, they actually revealed the release date for the new Sonic game. Not a game I'm going to play, but I think it looks nice for a Sonic game. It's actually the same day as God of War. It's November 8th. So I don't know why they're going head to head with that, but I was like, that's an odd choice. But hey, at least it is a very different type of game. So, the audience who's really into Sonic is probably still going to be able to get that, and then God of War will go with a more mature audience, right?
Okay. I see an expansion pack to Age of Empires 4, the Ottomans and Malians world.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm excited.
Again, not something I care about, but I think it's another one for the show.
More Microsoft exclusives for PC. Gee, what's new?
More money in Sony's pockets.
So there was it wasn't I wouldn't necessarily call it an indie game, although it has maybe some aesthetic of that, but it's a French published game. It's from Quantic Dream is actually publishing it, but I can't remember the name of the developer who is actually making it. But it's like Under the Waves. The character models have a little bit of an interesting art style, but like just about everything else looks fairly photorealistic in this direction.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really, really nice. And it's a narrative-based game, so that really impressed me, and I'm looking forward to that whenever it comes out.
Okay. Hey, yo, Jay Barry. Are you a big Disgaea fan?
Disgaea?
Yeah.
He said Disgaea.
Yeah, I like Disgaea.
Disgaea 7 announced for PS5, PS4, and the Switch.
Wait, they announced Disgaea 7?
Yep.
Really?
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, wait a minute. But it's on the Switch as well. So
because Disgaea 6, it came out on the Switch first. Like Nintendo locked up like a time exclusive. Yeah, it finally came out on the PS like 4 and 5 like this year, a couple of months ago. So but I didn't even see the Disgaea 7 announcement. Wow, I missed that.
Yeah. Let me share my screen.
Disgaea is actually fun games. Like the dialogue and the stories is pretty fun. Mm-hmm. Like if you strategy RPGs and whatnot, you'll have a good time with it.
That's always been a niche franchise, but it's always been on PlayStation. They always.
Oh yeah, it's very niche. Like NIS, they would tell you straight up. They say, "Yo, we don't care. All I need to sell is 200K."
Yeah, for real. And they make mad money. They only spend like $10 on making the game.
Yeah, they don't spend that much to make it, but their games are pretty cool. The Sky games are pretty fun. Right. I can't believe I missed that. That was at GamesCom?
I don't know if it was on GamesCom, but I see the announcement. Could be at GamesCom.
Oh, man.
Oh, shit. All right. Okay. So what else, Project Cloud? Because you're really convincing me that this show is great.
I think your expectations are just a little out of whack is all I can say, but...
She's saying I have to accept mediocrity?
What's mediocre about what we've really gone over more depth?
Well, everywhere, we don't even know what the hell it is. It's just supposedly a game for everybody. For everyone and anyone all at the same time.
But here's the problem.
Callisto Protocol, I already knew it was going to be good. In fact, I don't want to see, to be honest, there's a certain point where I don't want to see more of a game because now you're just taking away.
Yeah, now you're spoiling it.
Now you're just spoiling it.
Yep.
That's just to me.
Yep.
The other game you mentioned is, I have no idea what you mentioned. That's how forgettable.
So here's the thing. I think
Dune, all right.
In my estimation, gamers are unnecessarily nitpicky in general.
Listen,
now, I get it. Some things people like certain things a certain way.
Yeah, we just have.
But I don't.
I mean, he's not wrong. He plays at 30 FPS. You know, that's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's some people that like Peppa Pig. Not me.
True.
Shit.
True.
Oh,
so there's preferences.
Peppa Pig have more players than Halo Infinite, bro. You know. So.
Andrew Wilkins.
Call me Jay. You just opened a can of worms because you want to know something. You are not wrong.
Wait, what?
You are not wrong.
There's people out there that'll spend $800 on a video card just to see one extra brick and ray tracing.
Using school letter grades, A+, A-, you know the system. Let me see what you rate GamesCom. Obviously, F is a failure. It's just I want to get a sense of the community.
No, F is
how
fun.
They feel. F is fun. That's what I could put.
Yeah.
Somebody says C+. While they're doing that, Andrew Wilkins says, "How can you push back on PS fans when they are the smartest? Xbox fans lose all gaming challenges and debates against PS fans. Xbox fan equals short buzz." Oh man, Andrew Wilkins is on his tirade. So I see a lot of C, C+, see 1B, some D, C, D+. Fei Long, Where the Winds Meets, looks pretty good. Gives me a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima vibe. So the game is called Where the Winds Meets?
Yeah, it kind of had that.
That was another game that...
No, that game was cool, but the frame rate was like, whoa. That junk was...
Oh, that's Project Cloud's up his alley.
Huh?
That's up his alley.
Frame rate dips? I didn't.
It was cinematic.
Where the winds...
Yo, where the wings meet, that little, like, it was like Chinese or Japanese inspired game. Yeah, they had little gameplays there, and yo, you saw like the stutter off on the game.
That was an internet glitch.
Yeah. But what kind of game is it though? Because at the end, it gave me like a Dynasty Warrior type of vibe because there's so many dead people. So it's like
I used to love that game, man. Like on the PS2.
Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah, only because I just love the idea of slaughtering like 1,000 people with like one weight of my spear.
Mushu games,
the Mushu.
They're the same thing every time.
I used to love doing shit like that. Then it just got old once they made it to like that's Dynasty Warriors 9. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I stopped playing it on the PS2 once. It got bored really quickly of those games.
Yeah,
I did actually have something to share.
What happened?
But Cloud, if you're not done yet, I could wait.
Okay. I guess, and then the big thing at the end was the reveal of Dead Island 2, which it's been, I think, literally since that was last.
Wasn't that out already?
The reveal? No, not
Dead
yet.
Island 2? No.
Dead Island 2's not out?
No.
No. Talking about Dying Light 2.
I'm thinking, maybe I am thinking about Dying Light 2.
Dying Light 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So two zombie games that took forever to make. is what they have in common, actually.
Okay.
Dead Island 2, I want to say that was last on PlayStation's E3 show in like maybe 2014.
Yeah,
like
the guy
that.
running or jogging.
It could have been as late as 2016, but I really think it was like 2014 or 2015. 2014. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015. 2015 when it was last showing. So yeah, this game has been a long time in development. It's had a lot of reboots, but honestly, if you really look at that footage, like I'm just looking at the 1080p stream, man, did it look next gen? And yet it's a cross-gen title. It's coming out in February. Like
it was in 2014
seriously
that
impressive.
they showed it.
Oh, this look where the wind meets trailer looking good though.
Like it looks.
It does kind of give me that Ghost of
wow.
Tsushima vibe. In a way.
Oh, you're talking about the winds of something.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Project
this dude's
Cloud,
running
so
on the water. Yo.
They showed Dead Island in 2014.
What is he hopping on? This guy's just jumping on air.
I see that. Holy crap.
Yo. This is like, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon shit.
Yeah, it's a little bit of what's that one?
Yeah, you see the frame rate dips.
Yeah.
Someone said Ghost of China.
Oh shit!
Y'all thought I was joking. Y'all thought I was joking with the frame rate.
It's the Phantom of China.
So this game has nothing on Black Myth Wukong.
Oh yeah, I'm looking. That looks good too. Black Myth Wukong, yeah. But I'm just saying, I'm gonna support China in all these games. Cause they be coming up with some wild shit.
Yeah, we still waiting on that one game, bro.
Why you gotta bring that up, bro? Also aside, man. I'm waiting like 4 years already.
Yo, it's been like 4 years for real, yo.
Golly, man.
What game?
Lost Soul Aside.
Oh shit.
That shit's gonna be a PlayStation 6 title, bro. For real, at this point.
That's the next. What's that game? That's
Last
forever
Guardian
to make?
shit.
Yeah, and the next Last Guardian.
In Final Fantasy, what was it?
Oh,
Versus 13.
They're just gonna rename it.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Look at this.
So another game that we're not mentioning yet is Atlas Fallen. Like that, like they showed the cinematic, and it's like, okay, that looks really interesting. And then they showed the gameplay like within the trailer, like at the end, and it's like, oh wow, it actually looks similar to the trailer. Like, again, the trailer looks better, but the gameplay still looks like wow. Definitely next gen.
When I saw that game, I got really happy because it's a new IP and it actually looks good. It doesn't look like some crap. No. So I really like that. It's what we would expect, like a new IP that actually looks good and interesting.
Hey yo, Fei Long, man, good looking out for letting me know about that, man. Where the winds meet, yo, that shit looks fire. I copy it at a struggling 28 frames per second. No doubt. I got it.
Just use VRS, man. You'll be good.
It's not optimized yet. They're still waiting for the tools, Barry.
Yeah.
They're still waiting for them tools. They were
showcasing it on the Xbox.
That was the Xbox Series X version.
Yeah.
No, like when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. But when they start showing that little gameplay segment, I was like, oh,
that was the Xbox version.
Ready.
No, that's the Xbox version. That's the one we saw.
Ain't ready right here, bro.
It ain't ready yet. It still needs a little cook on the Xbox. But they're gonna shout out to Johnson. He says Atlas Fallen looks fire.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I added that to the wish list for sure.
Okay, damn, that's a lot of games. That's what's up. All right.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, I don't get the whole this was a trash show. Like, are you not a gamer? Are you just not like trailers?
All right, so let me start with Call Me Jay. We're gonna see. So from what you're hearing so far, Call Me Jay, did it change your mind a bit? Maybe Gamescom wasn't as trashy as people making it sound.
So I wasn't expecting anything from them really, because to me they've never really delivered something huge in my opinion for me. But they had a few games that I either I was already interested in or games that I never knew about, and I guess I just didn't know how to feel about the games because they didn't show gameplay. Like Atlas Fallen, they only showed a little bit at the end, or Everywhere, which I know is made by a huge developer, right? That used to work at Rockstar, but they didn't really show anything. So it had a few games that I would probably buy, like Gotham Knights, Sonic Frontiers, Dead Island 2 looks really good. And it looks like basically, what's that movie, Zombieland? It looks like Zombieland, basically, because you can just get the fuck around. Callisto Protocol looks cool. That's about it. Like, I don't really have anything else on it, but it was like a C, like Chat was saying, in my opinion. It was like in the middle.
All right. All right, Barry,
All right.
what's up with you, brother? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I gave the show a C. I respect a lot of the games that were shown there. I thought it had a lot of cool games, but as soon as I was about to say, because I was watching it with Persona, I was about to say, yo, the pacing has been pretty good. Then I start seeing Red Bull commercials. I was like, what the fuck going on?
That car commercial.
What the hell?
What the fuck?
What the hell going on over here? Then they brought Kojima.
Yo, speaking of commercials, y'all better hit that like button.
Podcast.
I'm gonna hit this insert ad. Yo, speaking of commercials, y'all better hit that like button. I'm gonna insert this ad up in here. Keep playing with me.
Hey man, listen, that Gamescom show. I'm not saying it was a bad show because there was stuff that I wanted to see that was there, and it looked pretty cool. But a lot of these games that be at Jeff Keighley's show, they are smoke and mirrors, man. They have these high production cinematics, and then when we actually get to see the actual game, it's these top-down asymmetric ass games, man. We gotta, I don't know what it is with these PC boys out there, man. But it's crazy. But at the end of the day, we are gamers. We're not really here for all that other fluff stuff. I understand the reasons why, somebody like Jeff Keighley will have that stuff there, for business reasons to pay for the show. But that stuff is just not appealing. I don't care about a Pokemon car. I don't care about Kojima coming out talking about he doing a podcast. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see some games, man. It's a gaming show. You know what I mean? So that stuff kind of killed the show for me, and 2 hours was just too long. Yeah, you could have cut a lot of that off.
There was an announcement for a Kojima podcast on this.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, Kojima's here," and then it was like him saying, "Hey, guys, it's me, Kojima." Yes, we know it's Kojima. I'm doing something cool. It's a podcast. We're gonna talk about stuff, and I was like, "What?"
So he didn't come to show games.
No, he said we were working on games, but this is something that I want to announce, and it's a podcast on Spotify.
September 9th.
I can see why it would be interesting because he said he's going to bring in people from the industry, so he might have conversations with other developers that might give us more perspective on certain things.
He could have tweeted that.
Exactly. It's not something for the show.
I totally disagree about that. I totally disagree.
Oh, this guy's capping, bro.
Hey, pull the rug.
Yo, project on that cap, dog. He on that cowboy hat cap.
Y'all listen to it. It's called marketing. Marketing. You want to be on a big stage. You want the spotlight.
For a podcast?
Listen, Project. Let me stop you right there, brother. Let me stop you right there.
Yes.
Project Cloud. Go look up that. You're right. You're correct, right, Project Crowd? But if you go and look up his Twitter, every tweet he puts up gets thousands of likes. Yeah. There's no need for a freaking stage announcement.
Hey, Portal.
What's up? What's good?
Didn't I say podcast go that Kojima don't know how to make games, bro? But he just got made podcast exclusives, bro.
Right now, yo, Yusuf's been in the DMs ever since Death Stranding went to Game Pass. Oh my god, I had to calm him down. I had to call the crisis center. I'd be like, yo, I need you to check on my boy Yusuf because he flipping out right now. He's like, yo, he about to make a whole video saying Kojima's dog shit. Don't know what the hell is he doing. Oh my god, bro. Oh, what's up, Yusuf?
I'm good, man.
All right. So, J Bar, you got any more comments on this dog shit ass GameStop?
Like I said, I don't think it was dog shit. I don't think it was like a super bad show.
You
but
a nice guy, man.
It's just the pacing, man. I don't know if Jeff Keighley is reading the room as far as like any type of criticisms like when it comes to these shows. Like I appreciate it, but like man, you know what I mean. We gotta do better with this pacing. Because we're gamers, we want to see gaming.
No, but I feel like
podcasts. I feel like majority of these shows they're not even like centered or aiming towards the gamer. They're trying to get these new gamers. That's just like what I mean. I don't know, man. It's crazy. Sony even mentioned it. It was like these games are like these games for like people for streaming and it's ever playing and it will never stop playing. It's nothing like anything with like. I don't know. It just a lot of this shit.
I see what you mean.
This is painful, bro.
Content.
I agree. Yeah. I agree with the cinematic shit. I'm so tired of seeing cinematics. We're at the day and age where games look as good as cinematics. Please stop making cinematics. If you're not ready to show the game,
cinematics be such a stark difference on how the game look. I'd be like, why you keep on fooling us with these trailers, man?
I mean, like just wait till the gameplay, a certain portion of the gameplay is showable, and show that. Don't give us stupid cinematics. I'm so tired of them.
I made a meme about that, but I gotta find it. But yeah, what did you want, Porter Rock?
Yeah, what you thought about this dog shit ass?
Just from hearing you talking, I would probably just fell asleep, and I'm like so glad I just decided just to watch the Destiny 2 live stream. But I would have fallen asleep watching Gamescom.
They show some good games. It's just the pacing, like Jay Bar said. The pacing is what made it like a C. It could have been better if the pacing was better. But
yeah.
See, here's what I'm going to push back on that. So, like, maybe it's the
better punch hard, bro.
The pacing is bad is because the games that you're being shown aren't interesting.
Yes,
but here's the thing: it
You're
went
right.
back to back to back to back to back. Like
there's
no break
after hit.
There is no break.
It was just
You
an
have to pay attention to the whole
onslaught
thing
of podcast announcements and
So,
games we already seen.
I don't know about this pacing thing. Like, for a gamer who's super nitpicky, it's like, they had this award for most wanted Xbox game. Okay, that's
what was that
weird,
award?
but it's like
What was
that
the
was
game?
that
What was
was
it?
a
Don't even get me started on those awards.
World premiere, world premiere, commercial, world premiere, world.
Bruh, don't get me started
about?
on they had an award, P-Rock, for best PlayStation game, and not one game was listed as like a PlayStation. All of them was like multi-plat games. You ain't list no Horizon. Like, I don't know who is voting for these dumbass awards that Gamescom always have.
To be fair,
okay.
Gamescom always only voted on games at the show. If it's not at the show,
it's games.
It doesn't get a vote.
So it's games that are at the show, but Jay Barry still has a point because it's, in my opinion, if it's a PlayStation award, it should be a game that was shown that it's only on PlayStation, right? But they were just third-party games.
Huh?
Yes. Okay.
No.
Life of P or whatever it's called is going to be on Xbox, isn't it? So how is it the most anticipated PlayStation game if it's also coming to Xbox? Wouldn't it be a most anticipated Souls game or something like that?
That award system is just dumb. Even if it's what's showing, it's dumb.
Lies of P does look interesting. It does look good. But we both know it ain't the most anticipated game on PlayStation. We all know there's only one game out right now that's the most anticipated. I don't know why we lying. I don't know why Gamescom is lying. Jeff Keighley, why you lying?
Those categories, those are weird, useless categories. But it's like, okay, those were two segments.
I think Project Cloud has stock on Gamescom.
And then you had game after game after game after game after game.
Jeff
like,
Keighley's.
You got a financial interest
everywhere, and then they showed you everything.
You're not wrong, Project Cloud. You're not wrong. It's that I guess you're right. Like, there are certain games that I wasn't interested in, and that hurt the pacing. On top of all the stupid ads and that car commercial that they had on the set and stuff like that. So it was the ads plus certain games that I just found not interesting. So you're right, but that's just the opinion.
My boy Johnson.
This gets so much worse because there's 3 more days of this.
Right, Johnson. My man says no matter what anyone shows, the hardcore will always complain. You goddamn right. We're never satisfied.
That's exactly right.
Never satisfied.
That's exactly right.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I want to mention something real quick about that Dune MMO. It came out of nowhere, but Funcom made Conan Exiles, which is actually a really good survival, I guess you could say, MMO game. So I have high hopes now for that Dune.
Isn't that the game that y'all made the penis mod for?
Yeah. You can run around with boobs all flapping and shit. So that I like that game. They took Conan Exiles took what Ark did and gave you like dungeons and like sort of single co-op player stuff to do in it, and it's really cool. So I expect them to do really good shit. Yeah, you're running around in Dune naked. Yeah, with your dong.
These PC dudes are sexual deviants. All right, hey, Generic Eric, your final take on games crap.
Most
Gamescom,
of it was give and take, I guess. Couple games that I was actually looking into was, of course, Lies of P.
Okay.
I'm a big Souls guy. But the other one was actually Hogwarts.
Okay. The game we already knew about because we got an in-depth state of play. But sure, let's see more at Gamescom.
I'm not against it. I won't get it day one. I'll get it on sale, but it looks okay.
Right. Real quick, generic. Did you check out Thymesia?
Or I actually just got it the other day.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I heard that's pretty good, man. I saw one boss battle that everybody's getting their asses whooped. That dude looks vicious. I think y'all know. A lot in Twitter space. I mean, in Twitter, I'm seeing it a lot.
It's kind of like Bloodborne, but you play as a plague doctor.
Oh, okay.
So it's pretty good, and you can like upgrade your skills and poison abilities.
Okay.
So
it's an interesting take or twist on the souls, because it's not just slashing. You have to use like your claw to, because when you hit them with your sword, it just you create wounds, and the wounds can heal. So if you wait, it'll heal. So basically, his health will go back up. So you have to slash, and then you have to hit him with a claw. So, but you have to time it right, because he can just fuck you up if he stuns you.
Yeah, I learned the hard way.
Yeah, I know, right? When I went up against that boss fight, I was like, all right, let's go. And when I tried to use the claw, he was like, nope. He just one-tapped me and killed me.
All right.
I went old school Souls and just kept dodging and hitting from behind. Eventually just healed over.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move to the next segment, right? So this next segment is with, I guess, whatever that hot sauce episode they do, actors and artists. What's it called?
I think it's called Hot Ones.
Hot Ones, yeah. So they talk about the industry while eating extremely hot chicken wings or whatever. So Matt Damon, he's a guest on the show. And this quick segment is about 2 minutes. He talks about the impact of subscription movie streaming and how it impacted Hollywood and how the decisions are made for making movies. I want to use this topic and see, is this the potential future for gaming if subscription model ends up being successful and becomes the main way we consume games. So let me set this up. Give me a second. Let me turn off the fan. Let me put the mic. Everybody should be looking at it, and I'm gonna hit play.
So I think a scenario lots of viewers can relate to is sitting on the couch on a Friday night, going through the streaming services, cycling through the movies and thinking to themselves, they're not making movies for me anymore. As somebody who's been intimately involved in movie making for 30 years, what are the macro Hollywood conditions behind that sentiment?
Well, so what happened was the DVD was a huge part of our business, of our revenue stream. And technology has just made that obsolete. And so the movies that we used to make, you could afford to not make all of your money when it played in the theater, because you knew you had the DVD coming behind the release, and 6 months later you'd get a whole nother chunk. It would be like reopening the movie almost. And when that went away, that changed the type of movies that we could make. I did this movie Behind the Candelabra, and I talked to a studio executive who explained it was a $25 million movie. I would have to put that much into print and advertising, right, to market it. What we call P&A, so I'd have to put that in P&A. So now I'm in $50 million. I have to split everything I get with the exhibitor, right, the people who own the movie theaters. So I would have to make $100 million before I got into profit. And the idea of making $100 million on a story about like this love affair between these two people, yeah, I love everyone in the movie, but that's suddenly a massive gamble in a way that it wasn't in the 1990s when they were making all those kind of movies, the kind of movies that I loved and the kind of movies that were my bread and butter.
All right. Okay, give me a second. All right, so allow me to set the tone for this conversation, because I started this conversation on Twitter. Well, that video got viral super fast. But most of the viral was within the movie, was in the realm of the movies. I kind of introduced it, into for gaming, right? Everybody hear me? Everybody good?
Yep.
Okay. So let me set the tone real quick, cause I'm taking lessons learned from Twitter. So that way I think there's a lot of people that they didn't understand what Matt Damon was talking about. I'm not trying to insult anyone's intelligence here, all right? So please forgive me. But this is more for, just for everybody to be in sync, and also for the chat also. Because I think a lot of conversations on Twitter kind of poison the conversation. So specifically, Matt Damon is not talking about the potential profits or how much money the movie industry can still make, or how successful subscription streaming can be, or how much money the people who own these subscription streaming platforms, how much money they're about to make. So he's not talking about how successful it is for Netflix, how successful it will be for Disney, HBO. He's not talking about the success or the potential revenue of how much money they can make. What he is talking about is how pretty much the success of these subscription services condemned pretty much made DVD obsolete, or buying movies an obsolete way of commerce for movies, and it changed the dynamic of what movie studios will greenlight. So what he's saying is, in the 90s and early 2000s, before the subscription movies start, they would just say, hey, let's make this movie, even if they knew there's potential that this movie would not be a big blockbuster smash at the movie theater. They knew that DVDs would come 6 months after and recoup the rest and make it profitable. So they relied on DVDs to do that. But now that nobody's really buying DVDs or purchase movies really are not as done as much because of subscription service, those decisions are no longer made. No one is willing to take the risk on a lot of movies, because after the theatrical release, there's pretty much nothing left. And it sounds like movie streaming is not recouping the money DVD sales once had. So they're not risking a lot of movies for theatrical release. I think they're pretty much just doing safe bets. And I think that's why a lot of people now feel, and I've seen this all the time, I've been seeing it for quite a few years now, and I think I'll chime in on all of you to see if you share the same sentiments. A lot of people feel we're seeing the same type of movies over and over and over. There's very little originality, very little creativity. I've seen a lot of people say, you know, the 80s and 90s were so much more creative with the type of movies being that was done as compared to what we're getting now, which is the same thing over and over. Or if it is new original content, it's actually from a comic book movie like Marvel. Because technically speaking, when you look at Marvel MCU universe, they are creating original content for their movies because it's based off the comics. You know what I'm saying? Which is weird. So they're successful because their source is popular comics, whatever. But apparently, you know, that's what Matt Damon's saying is it's a change in the industry because of what, you know, subscription streaming has done to the industry. My question is, now keep in mind, movie streaming began to gain popularity in early 2007 with Netflix. So it took a while to get to this point. We're talking about Netflix started their streaming in 2007. So that was what? Like 15 years ago? So here we are 15 years later. You see how popular it is. Can in 15 years, if not just Game Pass, but if any subscription service, if they become the main way we consume games, and it's just the main way people, you know, play games, it's very little game purchase and more through their subscription plan, can this future be the same for gaming in 15 years from now or 20 years from now? Where now, because everything's done through subscription service and very little people are buying games directly, whether it's digital or physical, what games get green lighted will now be hindered or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I want to start with our guest, and then we'll work our way down. So what do you think about that? Do you understand pretty much what Matt Damon was trying to say?
Yeah, movie companies can't necessarily take risks anymore because they can't guarantee that they're going to be recouping costs after the money is out of the theaters.
Yes.
And I think Sony kind of seen that coming with PlayStation Plus Extra, hence them not doing day and date. They specified that even. They said flat out they're going to lose money. And this is the result of that. Now, that's not to say that Game Pass can't be successful eventually, but look at Netflix. I mean, they're making deals for movies, and they had like 250 million.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think about it. Not only do these people that they're making these deals with need to make money, Netflix needs to make money themselves.
Yes.
So, I mean, there's a lot of money going a lot of different ways that is not going directly to the movie, you know, filmmakers and whatnot. And when you reflect that over to gaming, it's going to be the same thing. I found an article actually on GameIndustry.biz Microsoft has reportedly paid $600,000 to put Cooking Simulator on Game Pass. Now, I mean, you think about it. They don't do that. Now, mind you, this is probably like a lower end game. It's not going to sell, Elden Ring numbers, but I mean, they could have potentially made, maybe $1 million, maybe a couple more than that, instead of putting it on Game Pass. I guess what I'm saying is that, it's a situation where they can take guaranteed money, but it's probably going to be less, or, they wing it and, just basically see what happens kind of thing, taking the risk. I mean, there's also the thing there where, there's those deals apparently where they're not supposed to go on streaming services, and that's a whole other conversation in itself. But I think Sony is doing that as a preventative measure because they know that even though the subscription services are lucrative in their own way, it's long-term damaging to the developers because they're not making as much money as they can. Me, I'm not an advocate for digital content at all. Every single game I own is physical. And I do that because I want to make sure that the developers get the money. I mean, I'll try out Game Pass. I'll try out PlayStation Plus. If the game is good, I will go out and buy it. But I'm the minority, and I know that. Not everybody's going to think that. But the thing is that if you give the money to the developers, that's going to fund their next projects, and that's going to improve the quality because they have the funds to be able to burn to make sure that the polish is there. And they're not doing Cyberpunk 2077 material.
Okay. All right. Now.
So.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's gonna finish up.
So I guess basically what I'm saying is that, I mean, there is benefits both ways on the consumer side, but I mean, also it's going to be detrimental, unless people, don't use that as an excuse not to buy games just with the subscription service.
Okay. All right. Bari, what do you think about this? Do you think what Matt Damon said about the movie industry, you think that's potentially applicable 15, 20 years down the line if game streaming subscription or, streaming, subscription service, the Netflix model becomes the standard across all platforms? And now pretty much the game industry changed on what they're going to greenlight for what games to be developed. Bari? Oh shit, he got his booty call. All right.
Booty call.
He got his booty call. All right, let me move that up.
Oh, no, my bad. I'm here. I'm here.
He got it.
He put her on.
Nah, I was gonna take with my nephew.
All right, no doubt.
But
teach your nephew to buy your games. Raise him right.
Oh yeah, he. Well, yeah, he don't buy no games, but he love that Switch though, man.
Oh shit.
But nah, man, like I definitely understood the point that you was making when you doing the comparisons with the movie and the gaming, and just like my man said earlier, like Sony, they understand that as well, where you can lose out on a lot of money putting these stuff into these services, and how the trend of where gaming is going, it can have that same ripple effect of how movies are, how Matt Damon was explaining it. The thing is what's happening is that Microsoft and what they're doing, that's more like an anomaly, because they are doing things where that's typically not like what other businesses would do. Like, they are fronting their bill when it comes to Game Pass, and they are taking these losses when it comes to Game Pass, but they want the perception of this service is doing so great because they want all these people to get into there and subscribe and access the games and all that stuff or whatever. But at the end of the day, no other company is going to be doing something where they're taking that much loss and just continuing to support it like that, other than Microsoft, because Xbox in itself is not really supporting Game Pass. It's Microsoft. All the money that they're, making, the trillions of billions of dollars that they make from services and servers and all that stuff is pretty much supporting Xbox and what Game Pass is doing. PlayStation, Nintendo, they're in a different ballpark where they're supporting themselves. It's PlayStation that's funding everything. So the mindset is much different But I see the trend of gaming when it comes to all these services and all that stuff. And no different what Matt Damon is saying is that pretty much like the quality of the type of movies and stuff like that people enjoyed back then, that is going to start to diminish. That you're not going to see the creative freedom no more, because now it's more, you got to be a little bit more like, okay, I got to put out a banger movie. So you're seeing a lot of these comic book movies because these are the safer bets rather than something that's more like, how these 90s or these early 2000 movies will be, where it's just like a whole bunch of different genres and they're taking the risk and all. So you're not going to see that much risk. And in gaming, it can end up like that because you got to fit the bill as far as how these services and how many subscribers you have. So if you're running these games through services, and depending on how many subscribers you got, you might not take that risk to make that game, that Horizon Forbidden West 3. I'm not saying this is going to happen when it comes to PlayStation. I'm just, we're just speculating that some of that stuff they're going to have to cut down because, it doesn't fit the bill of these services that we're trying to make people join up in. And it's all dependent on subscribers and all that bullshit. But nah, I understand it. Hopefully gaming don't get there. Most likely it probably will, because everybody's chasing that games as a service, and make sure you join this service. Everybody's consolidating and buying all these developers and publishers so they can, push their services. So no different than how the movies and, these subscription services that we have, Netflix Disney and all that stuff is doing. The same thing gaming is probably gonna, end up with in a couple of years. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. Hey, call me Jay. What do you think?
Pretty much I agree with what Jay Barry and General was saying or talking about already. So it's not exactly the same. What Matt Damon was saying, it's not like 1-to-1, but it's very similar in how the more subscription services start taking over, the less the quality will. The less quality we'll have of games, the less budget they'll have to make things. And it's kind of interesting how Jay Barry said that Microsoft is an anomaly because it's more, I feel like Game Pass was more of a reactive decision rather than a logical one, because they even put their games day and date. And if you really look at it, if you take out the studios that they purchased over the past few years and you just focus on their own studios like Turn 10, Coalition, and the 343, or even Rare, what games have they made ever since Game Pass came out that were like, that pushed the envelope forward in terms of whatever genre they were a part of, Like Sea of Thieves now is good, but because when it came out, it was absolutely garbage and it was very bland. Now it's completely different because they had more time to develop it. But yeah, it's just, if the future is subscription services, we're definitely going to see a lesser and lesser quality in games, unless something crazy happens and there's just so many people subscribed. But even music stuff like Spotify and Netflix has how many millions of people, and they're still like losing money all the time. So I just find it very interesting how gaming started as developers have to find ways to make their vision happen with the limited hardware that they had at the time. And now that the hardware is increasing and they're having more options to do more things, now potentially is the other way around. Now it's like, because of subscription services, now the bottleneck is the budget that they have to make things. So even though they have all this power, now they got to be wary of how much they're doing because they don't want to go over their budget and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cloak, if you have any thoughts.
I'm not really too big in like the business side of everything with it, but if let's say that there's a movie that does come out, but like they stop making DVDs, and it's only and we only have services that we can watch those movies, it'll be very disappointing to like you won't be able to like look at like bonus content. I'm pretty sure that would probably be like locked off, maybe like a quote unquote DLC for the movie. Imagine that. But I remember as a kid watching the the Grinch on the DVD. They had like games in there where you get to play the games, and we won't see that anymore. But if that was to go towards if that type of service was to go to games, then we would not see like any collector's editions anymore. At least probably not as much, because everything will be digital then. What would be the point of buying something physical for the game that you? It's only on that's a digital product.
Well, hold on, just to interrupt there. What about God of War Ragnarok and the Mjolnir edition or
Yeah, that did pop to my head. And also, yeah, there is that too. But I feel like if the game, I feel like, what would be like the point to like leave your house to like go buy a game? I mean, yeah, you can order it. You can order the product from the online store, but GameStop wouldn't exist anymore. Walmart's probably game section, movie section wouldn't exist anymore. And this is probably like maybe what do you guys think? 20, 30 years from now, if that?
Well, the pandemic accelerated that by at least 5 years.
Yeah, probably.
I'm sorry to cut you guys off, but I'm gonna hop off. I have to go. So take care, guys.
All right, take care, brother.
Yeah. I just see that we're gonna lose out. We're gonna lose out on stuff that we actually like if everything goes to a service.
All right. Okay. And then Project Cloud, what do you think about this?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
There we go.
Yeah, so if I was being a contrarian to start with, I mean, wait till you hear what I have to say now, I guess. Well, here's basically what it comes down to. I hear what Matt's saying. At the end of the day, we must reject what he's saying.
What? Like, what are you talking about? What you talking about, Willis?
No, he's right to a certain extent, but he's leaving out other information that paints a different color when you consider it. And that's basically, okay, he's right that certain things that he used to like acting in, he doesn't really get to make them either at all or as much as he used to. Like, that's true. But here's the thing. Those types of movies shifted to Netflix making them. That's what happened. Now, another factor that people aren't always considering is, why are certain movies not made? Well, maybe because, there were too many movies that released in a string of, succession that just didn't live up to snuff, and therefore, studios got spooked and stopped making them. So it's not necessarily because, these movies just can't make money. It's probably because, well, we're not trying hard enough, and or we're not putting it on the right platform. So I really don't think it's at the end of the day yes, it's a business decision, but it's also a decision that you occasionally do see like exceptions to it as well. So it's just transitioning kind of where those types of whatever genre he was referring to gets made. Now it's just made on a different platform, or occasionally you have a very successful or reasonably successful theatrical version of that. Honestly, when it comes to games, I just look, are there some parallels, in subscription? Like, sure, you know what I mean? There's Game Pass, the CEO of Microsoft, has called basically Game Pass the Netflix of gaming. So, there's obviously some parallel. I think the way it fundamentally works in gaming, or at least under Microsoft's umbrella, is that, hey, they just kind of keep eating the costs indefinitely, and they're hoping one day it's going to actually turn into real profit. Also about Game Pass, I do believe that the way the model is working right now, we'll see in the future when Microsoft will be even more concerned about getting to profitability with the service, but it's actually expanded gaming right now. You actually can see things. I think there are even some games that, without Game Pass, maybe, with the day one release or however Microsoft is paying them for it up front or just later on or whatever, maybe some of those games wouldn't have come out because Microsoft made a nice deal for those developers to actually, be on the platform. I would actually say that the superhero stuff, that's commonly comes out, like, it's actually PlayStation that is, David Jaffe points this out, is quote unquote being generic. And guess what? That's happens to be the kind of stuff I like. I love the Sony type of games, but those are actually the
But Jaffe's not being honest.
He's non-original, things that are quote unquote, putting the industry down.
I'm gonna say this, Jaffe, he's not being honest in this conversation.
I think he is.
No,
I think he is.
You can't really argue that when you can actually name, and this is how Jaffe works, right? Jaffe is like an extreme left liberal when you're talking to him. He ignores facts and just goes with emotions. Because when he mentioned that, people mentioned, okay, what about Astral Playroom? What about Dreams? And they mentioned these newer games. Oh, blah, 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 blah. We just named you real, physical, Returnal even. That's definitely not something Sony does, and that's not like a big blockbuster third person, you know what I'm saying? That's a very hard, in fact, that's a very, but the thing is, if someone names you physical proof, then you have one or two choices. Really, you don't really have one or two choices. If you're making a statement, right, and somebody goes, well, hold on, what about this, this, and this? And these are physical proof, these are physical games, these are actual facts. Yep. When you reply, well, they don't count. Then, so in other words, the games that counter your point don't count, so therefore your point is valid. That's not how it works. If you make a point, then that means someone can't make a counterpoint to prove you wrong. But he just dismisses it, and then like, if he were to dismiss and then give us a valid reason why they should be dismissed, and he doesn't. He just ignores it and then moves on to the next. So that's why I said no. His points about that is all wrong. Because people confronted and named him a list of games. Okay. And if he's going to argue against it, that's fine. But make a proper argument on why those games don't count. And he never did. He just says, but that don't count. Pfft, next topic. Like, what? That's not how it works.
Okay. So let me be the in-between you and Jaffe here. Yeah. So I hear what you're saying, because obviously there's hard facts about his Astro's Playroom. There's Returnal. I would actually argue that Returnal is somewhere in between, like, let's say a Naughty Dog game and, I don't know, something more Japanese or whatever. It's a step in between. It's kind of it's a bit more of an experimental game. It's I can't remember the term that it's not. Is it procedural? But there's something else. The style of game that developer makes.
The roguelike.
This was roguelike.
That'd be what I'm talking about. Thank you. Yeah. That's a little bit more niche in comparison. Mm-hmm. So I think what Jaffe's talking about is, well, what is the main thrust of PlayStation first party? Well, it's clearly like Naughty Dog is their pillar in that. And all the other developers, again, when I say all, not literally all, but, many of their developers have aimed for that level of quality, basically, certainly in the PS4 era. So that's what he's talking about. He's talking about what has been, the true tent poles, the pillars of Sony first party, and it's clearly, things like Uncharted, Last of Us, Horizon, Spider-Man, God of War, etc. That's where they've been focused. Now they're now diversifying, and they're actually, in a sense, making Jaffe happier, right? They have more obscure titles, and they plan to kind of publish. Some of the titles that they used to develop in-house through Japan Studio that's now defunct, right? So there's definitely a balance, but I would say like Jaffe's correct when he says that, hey, the big Sony first-party games are the equivalent of the Marvel titles. Now I don't think it's a one-to-one, as in like I think you're seeing definitely more creativity on a per title basis and just kind of overall like developer effort and time it takes to make these games, like. Of the games compared to like a Marvel movie, perhaps, but it's not even a fair comparison because it's such a different medium. But I do kind of understand where he's coming from on that. So even something like Ghost of Tsushima, which is a new IP, and it's not a title. We've never really had a game quite like that before. That's like this really realistic, gritty, and especially with the level of graphics you have now, we don't really have an example of something like that in the past that I can think of that succeeded in such a major way. So even something like that that's original, like that's still being put in the camp of quote unquote, well, it's a Sony first party thing, it doesn't count. That's not quote unquote not original. I think what Jaffe's talking about is Sony kind of going out of their mold, doing something more multiplayer or something more double A, single A, more stuff that they used to do in like the PS3 era, for example. So it's kind of like, I would appreciate, just having even a more rounded portfolio, but not at the expense of the games that I really love.
So I think we're blurring. I think potentially we're blurring two metrics here, because there's a difference between
Yeah.
Sony not attempting to provide certain games and just sticking to whatever is making them so successful, versus they are providing it a lot of stuff, but it just so happens these games are the ones that are most notable, and I think that's the difference, right? Because they provided Dreams, but Dreams wasn't a big hit. They're going after third party, so to make things exclusives to increase the pie, right? Because Sony doesn't have an infinite amount of studios, so they're gonna leverage third party to get these third party deals or second party deals, whatever. So we get the Kingdom Bread of Spirits, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get the Detroit Become Humans. We're gonna get all these other titles, whether it's from them directly or leveraging other developers to provide the content to PlayStation. Is just they provide all this stuff. But what ends up being the most successful is like the Uncharted, the Horizon Zero Dawn. But that's completely different. If I provide you 20 things, and out of the 20 things I provided, 7 of them are the super big hits that sold 30 million, do not discredit me and ignore the 13 other things I provided too and say, oh, you're only providing these 7 things. No, I provided you 20. You chose to pick these 7 as the most wanted stuff. But that's not a hit on me because I failed to provide you. No, I provided a various palette of various games, right? But the consumer decided, oh, these specific games, this is what sells 20 million, 30 million. These will sell 2 million, 1 million. But then you come back and blame me like, oh, you ain't providing nothing. We keep playing these same 7. I'm like, no, brother, I give you 20. You chose to ignore the other 13 when I gave you 20. You just wanted to mostly play these 7. And then you make excuses not to play the other 13. Now, granted, everybody has a choice and opinion on what they want to play. I'm not saying everyone's forced to play the 20. But there's a difference between saying what the company's trying to provide and then just out of everything they provided, what just ends up being the most successful out of the whole stream.
Okay.
I think that's 2 different arguments. Jaffe tried to argue, despite Sony selling 20, they're only really focusing on the 7. And everybody's like, no, they're not only focusing on the 7. They do a lot more than the 7. It just so happens the 7 is what on center stage and what everybody's playing. But all this other stuff that's there, you can play it. It's totally unique. It's creative content. But for some reason, very few people just want it. And it's just like, okay, you don't want it. Sony.
Okay,
So
I call a witness, Your Honor.
Like real question. Let's take like Japan Studios. Japan Studios failed because nobody really wanted to play their games. People can't say, oh, you didn't give like Gravity Rush. Gravity Rush had a sequel, so you cannot tell Sony's not trying. They say, hey, we're gonna make a sequel.
Okay.
Hey, we made Knack 2. Here's sequels, so we're supporting them. But if you don't want it, you can't say, oh, Sony, you're not giving us what we want. Like, all right, we give you these games, you don't want it, but then when we make The Last of Us or a Naughty Dog game, you guys are all over it, right? And again, I'm not saying gamers need to buy these games. I'm not saying that. But there's a difference between saying, oh, Sony's not providing variety, when that's not true at all. They are providing variety. It just comes down to, I think a lot of people that keep saying they want variety, they really don't. It's just words, when in reality, you keep buying the most popular stuff anyway. Because everybody, I hear so many people saying we want variety, but the games that have variety, they hardly get bought. So I'm thinking, where's all these people that's been clamoring for variety? Where are you at now? Like, there's a whole bunch of variety out there, but no one's really buying it. So where are you guys at? You see what I'm saying? That's where I find the whole thing. Well, anyway, what are you going to say?
Yeah. So I want to defend Jaffe a little bit here because he's not really the only one who's talked about this, and certainly he would be kind of on the crude level, right? Just sort of shotgunning, from his chair streaming. But Jason Schreier is a much more balanced individual who's going to be considering. Again, you could point out nitpicks on maybe stuff he's might have missed or misconstrued or whatever. But he's a journalist. There's an article, again, I can't remember exactly which one it was, but he's basically bringing out that same point. It might have even been in that same article about Ben's studio, how they were being nicknamed like Naughty Dog South or Naughty Dog North or whatever it was, and they were working on an Uncharted game at that time, and then the studio eventually requested, hey, let's just make our own IP so that we actually have a better reason to exist as Ben Studio in name, right? Justifying themselves in a better position. It might have been in that same article where he refers to how, like, even internally within Sony, like, there has been this greater push toward blockbuster releases over more niche titles. And it wasn't to say that they haven't released any. Like, that wasn't the point. The point was a focus on one over the other, and a leaning towards one. Now, I think since then, Herman Holst, did come out on a PlayStation podcast with Sid Schumann being interviewed, and he sort of indirectly tackled that point by being kind of very friendly in his approach, where he's like, yeah, we're here to give you games of every shape and size and genre. And I actually think it's the case of having your cake and eating it too, where it's like, actually what Jason said and reported on is that's true. And it's also true that, hey, Sony's looking to kind of give you everything. It's just through like kind of more publishing means, or, just maybe not developing that internally as much. Right. So I actually think it's the case that both are true, but it's just kind of what lens are you looking at? Are you looking at it exclusively on the first party basis, or are we looking at kind of a first party studio basis, I should say, versus like first party publishing as a whole, which would include third party developed games?
Me personally, I think it's everything decision as a whole. Like, for example, if I invested hundreds of millions of dollars to make you a AAA studio, because Sony Ben, for example, they actually gave them a brand new facility and they tripled them in size. You're not going to come back to me and tell me, oh, we want to make an indie. Then what the hell did I put money into you for? Like, I don't mind if a first-party developer is an indie, but if I gave you a AAA budget, I gave you a whole new facility, I tripled your studio inside, clearly we know what the expectation is, right? But I think ultimately as a publisher, it's, because again, unless you're going to buy every developer in the industry, you're not going to have enough developers. There's only so many developers you're going to have under your belt, unless you're Microsoft, right? And you just keep buying studio after studio, right? So at a certain point, you have to leverage talent, right? You're going to have your own internal talent, and then depending how much you invested in them, if you invested AAA money into the studio and they're willing to accept it, like, hey, thanks for making us into a super AAA studio, then don't cry that you're not making single A or double A or indies no more. Mm-hmm. We put too much money into you. And then, but still, to provide those single A, double A's experiences, Sony's huge on this whole China Hero project, so they're getting talent from a whole new region to push all new creative games and that stuff, and that's all what they're doing. But guys like Jaffe, all they're trying to do is they're trying to weaponize the extreme success of games like Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us, Naughty Dog, Insomniac, and they're trying to make it look like, oh yeah, that's all Sony's doing, when that's clearly not the case or whatever. Sony's trying to provide a whole palette of games and leverage games, because at the end of the day, it's what games and content you have access to on your platform, right? Take, for example, like Xbox. That's one of Microsoft's issues. They don't know how to leverage overall talent in the industry to balance that. Hey, we're going to make sure our first party provides stuff, but we're also going to cover our six with good third party content and stuff like that, and use both to our advantage, because ultimately that's the service you're trying to provide to your gamer. Hey, we're going to give you a whole palette of titles and content, leveraging our ability to be a publisher and go all across the spectrum of our first party, second party relationships, and whatever third party we can nab as exclusives, time exclusives, yada, yada, yada. Here you go, gamer. Enjoy this wide palette of content across the board. And then the gamer's going to choose what they want to play at the end of the day. And Sony's been doing that. I think that's always been Sony's model. But I think right now, a lot of people are weaponizing the extreme success that we never really seen from Sony before. Sony, to be honest, was never the company that made 20 plus million selling first party games. I think the closest was just Gran Turismo franchise, and I think at its peak was maybe 16 million. I think, give or take, at its highest, and I think that was Gran Turismo 3 was like the highest selling first party they ever had. But normally they don't have 2, 3, 4 titles, period, that sells 20 plus million, let alone in the same gen on the same platform. So some people are using that as a way to twist and be like, oh, look at this, Sony's only focusing this, and this. Where's all the other creativity? And then when you name them, people want to dismiss it and then just move on to the next topic. And like,
okay,
the logic doesn't make sense.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, there's definitely, reporting out there that Sony is more focused on this big budget AAA stuff. And I anecdotally, like that makes sense to me. When you see like, look at PlayStation Showcase, what are the big pops? Well, Wolverine, Spider-Man 2, KOTOR remake. I mean, if it says Sony Interactive Entertainment presents, that's code for AAA game from Sony you're going to want to play.
Okay. Well, look at
That's
this,
what
though.
that means.
Name me how many indie studios Sony first-party publisher has.
Say the question again.
Name me all the indie studios, like low-budget, single-A to indie level production studios Sony has under their belt as a first-party.
Oh, that they own?
Yeah, that they own.
The only one you can maybe argue for is Pixelopus,
yeah,
if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
But even they're working on something with Sony Animation that will kind of still be pushing scale and
maybe Housemarque
than what their last title was. So
yeah, maybe Housemarque, and they're trying to make them bigger, right? So if people are like,
absolutely,
like Sony's first party ain't focusing on indies, well, it's because they put too much money in them to make indies. Like if Sony were to buy a slew of indies, sure, right? But all their studios, the reason why they're pushing AAA from these studios is because that's what they invested in them. They grew them. They give them new facilities, and it's not like the studio is rejecting, like, oh no, we need to remain indie, we need to remain small, so we could just focus on this. They're getting the investments, they're getting the money, they're trying to build up these teams or these development studios to handle 2 or more projects, so they just keep getting bigger and bigger. Like Sony Bend, their next current project is even bigger than Days Gone. They just keep getting, so that's the expectation. But Sony knows, like, okay, all our studios, we're making them big, we're getting investments, but we still need to focus on smaller titles, whatever. That's why they made Yoshida ahead of like everything, all PlayStation indies. Mm-hmm. Some people thought, oh, he got fired, he got downgraded to a lower position. No, they wanted the best guy with great talent and a great eye for content to be in the best position to be like, hey, find these great smaller titles that PlayStation will, PlayStation gamers could enjoy or could be great to round out our portfolio, right? Now, let me ask you this. What would be the difference between just simply going out to third party, finding them, and then just outright buying them? It results in the same thing. You still get the same indie games. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's why I said that. Yes. And to me, that's still Sony doing their part to get those indies, to get those smaller titles. They just don't actually own the studio. Because you can't own everybody. At a certain point, you're just not going to own everybody.
Right. Well, here's what I want to say. So, like, so many of the points you're saying are like really dead on, like they really are. Mm-hmm. But I would say at the same time, like the catalyst for, I would say the proof of what I'm saying is correct is that Japan studio, that was, they were canceled and they were known for those titles that David Jaffe would have been like, yeah, that's what I want to see from Sony a lot more. Sony canceled them.
And why? Because they didn't make games or because we didn't buy the games?
Well, I hear you. It's basically because we didn't buy the games.
There you go. So
did
Sony?
Jaffe doesn't care about that. Like,
and I know he doesn't care because it's emotional. That's what I said in the beginning. He is emotional. So then, what's the point? If you don't care about facts, then why am I talking to you? If it's all emotional, I don't care about Philly. Oh, what? Like, you don't care. So you're complaining about a company not making games. But you admit they were making games and the gamers didn't buy it. So what do you think the natural result's going to be? They're going to start making those games. If you don't want it, they're not going to give it to you because you don't want it. Mm-hmm. And then you go back and turn around, but I want it. Who wants it? No one wants these games. No one was buying it. And then when you try to explain that to Jaffe, he's like, I don't care about that. Then what you're really saying is, I shouldn't care about this conversation. Because this conversation doesn't make sense if you're going to end up saying, I don't care about facts. Like, I don't care about actual reality in life. That doesn't make sense. Like, would you go to a restaurant that makes shitty food? Is that the expectation? Is that the expectation for the restaurant to still be a restaurant, even though nobody likes their food, but you got to have that restaurant because it provides diversity in the community? Let's say if it's like a Spanish, let's say if it's a Latino restaurant, right? Puerto Rican restaurant in your neighborhood, and you finally got one. But everybody goes there, the person's not even Puerto Rican. It's just fucking disgusting. It's like, holy shit, this is the worst food ever. We're going to still keep that restaurant in the neighborhood because it provides diversity to the neighborhood? And be like, hey, it's still a Latino restaurant, so we got to keep it. So you got to stay open, even though no one's going in it and eating your food because it sucks. It's gonna close down. You see what I'm saying? That's how I see it. Maybe.
Okay, so let me add some color to this here. So Jaffe, I mean, he's smart enough man. He knows that the titles that he wants to see, like he knows that the sales on those are not as good. Like he just knows that. And when he says, and if you were to talk to him and he would say, I don't care, he doesn't mean not from a business perspective. He knows that the business has to run, right? But what he means is, as a gamer himself, as somebody who likes those types of games, he's sad that he can't play those types of games in the same frequency and that he used to be able to. That's what he's complaining about, and that's okay because like that's you want to see something and you're not getting it. Like
but who's
reality.
Who should be he directing that energy towards? To Sony or to the gamers who talk shit about we want variety, but they don't show up to actually support variety? Who's really to blame on this?
Okay. So I know there's definitely inconsistent people out there who will say one thing, hey, we want variety, and then never actually either play a variety of games or buy a variety of games. But there's also people group out there that actually is consistent. And, to that audience who is consistent, that what they're saying on Twitter matches, what they play or what they intend to play at least, they're unfortunately left in the dust, with Japan Studio being closed. They're not getting a Gravity Rush 3, for example. At least, I don't think that game's coming. So
no, it's not, because nobody really bought 2. In fact, the sales of 2 was worse than 1. So the people who bought 1 didn't even show up to buy 2. Mm-hmm. That's what that means. Let's say, like, if I'm just making numbers, because I don't remember exact numbers. If you bought part 1 of the game, and let's say I'm just making a number, it sells 1 million. Then part 2 comes out, it only sells 200,000. That means at a minimum, 800,000 people who bought the first game did not show up for the second.
Right.
That's what that means. That's literally what that means.
Here's another point you guys haven't mentioned. What about the quality of the game?
But that's the thing. That's a good point. That's a good point, because that's where I think the big conundrum is. A AAA big blockbuster game is AAA big blockbuster game for a reason. You're not gonna get that from an indie. You're not gonna get a God of War as an indie. You're just not. You're not gonna get Horizon Zero Dawn as an indie. So the expectation should be the same. It should be a good fun game, a good quality game, but it's gonna have its limits based on its budget and the amount of time it has. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that look at Days Gone. Okay, that game may be good now, but the perception was it was called frames gone because it ran like crap, and that's the stigma that it has. And now it's considered a quote-unquote failure, even though they're now deciding out of nowhere they're going to make a movie out of it. But
that's weird.
Yeah.
Even you know what's funny? Speaking of Gravity Rush, they're supposed to be making a show out of that too. Like, what the fuck? So technically, getting Gravity Rush 3 is just on TV.
But look at Destruction All-Stars, for example. That game's completely different than everything else that's been released compared to, like, Demon Souls, for example. And, like, that game sold, like, ass.
Well, really, they gave it away for free.
Garbage.
And they gave it away for free. Exactly. They didn't give it away for free, but they gave it away as part of a subscription. And people still didn't play it.
Yeah, and like let's be honest, it's not a great game.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Shout out to LWeb100. He says we had Sifu, Stray, and Roller Dome. I think Roller Dome's a multiplayer, though. For indie games this year, Sony is doing just fine. But I think Roller Dome is on Xbox, right?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I saw a video of it. I wasn't interested in it because it's like roller skating and shooting. It was just weird. I don't know. It was just weird. It wasn't something for me. Sifu, I love, though. Sifu was absolutely a blast. You know?
Tom Windows.
And how about this? The end all be all. Is Sony not also pushing VR? Is that not something that's totally different, out of the box, unique experiences? Would that not?
Yeah.
That's definitely not typical The Last of Us AAA with generic same old. Mm-hmm. That's a whole different realm now. You see what I'm saying? Yep. And Sony's doing a whole investment on that. They invested in studios. They created a whole new headset. But Jaffe, if I were to tell that to Jaffe, but no one really plays. People throw up and vomit. Like, that's not the point, though. That's not the point, Jaffe. Like, he would literally say that. Oh, but people get eye herpes, so that don't count. Like, what? That's not the point.
If no one's gonna play it, then why are they investing all this money into research and R&D and opening studios and developing games and this and that? That doesn't make sense.
But that's right. But would you say Project Code? Would you not say that? Yeah, that's kind of as out of the box as it gets. Especially when technically Sony is the only console maker out of the three that's willing to do it. Because Microsoft and Nintendo, they're like, yeah, no thanks. We're staying away from that one, buddy.
After Connect, who can blame them?
Yeah. So I think Jaffe, what he would probably say is he would narrow it down even more and say, well, VR, that's an oddity. I'm talking about things you can play in a console, without VR.
You see, you did. You know what? You did do a good Jaffe. You did exactly what he would do. Yeah, but what I'm talking about, just completely dismiss.
Well, it's dismissing, but it's defining your terms at least, right? Which is the most important thing. And I guess the way he believes, because again, he really wants those Gravity Rush 2s, things Japan Studio used, Shadow Colossus and all that, which that one was pretty successful as far as I understand. So who knows? Maybe something will happen with that IP at some point in the future. But he kind of is more of the mindset that Sony, because they're a first-party studio, because they're, they've historically, released what they have from Japan Studio, that they should just keep it going, regardless of the profits. That they should just add that in as a sunk cost of being a console manufacturer.
So they should make games that most people are not going to play, instead of going after.
It's not about.
So let me ask you this, because it's not like Sony stopped going after indies. They're just going after indies and single A, double A content that people actually do want to play. So it's not like they're stopping.
Right.
Looking
no,
for
I get that.
They're still gonna push it, but they're looking for the stuff. Okay, what single A's, double A's, and indies you guys really want? Like Sifu. Sifu was much more popular than Gravity Rush. You know what I'm saying? So should they have just kept focusing on Gravity Rush 3, 4, 5, 6, and ignore trying to get like the Sifus or the Kena Bridge of Spirits? You know what I'm saying? I think that's what Sony's doing.
It's not an either or. It's a both and. You can still have Yoshida go ahead and find all the great indies out there that just people that need to stay indie and just what I mean, because it's so small. It's like, well, you're not going to buy a studio of 3 people.
Wait, so you're saying Sony needs to both get good indies and still keep failed indies? That doesn't make sense.
No.
Because what I'm saying is Sony's replacing the failed low-level games and replacing it with trying to find even better quality indies and single A's. That's what I'm saying. They're like, okay, all these single A's and indies are failures. Look for better ones. They're still single A's, they're still double A's, they're still indies, but they're better quality. So Gravity Rush, nobody really wants that. But Kena, hey, people want that. Good. We're going after the Sifu. Oh yeah, people want that. Stray, oh shit, people love that. So they're still going after indies. They're just going after quality indies. In other words, how come it's kind of like with Guerrilla? They went from making Killzone, which most people, majority of the franchise wasn't that good, and replaced it with Horizon Zero Dawn. And I don't think anybody had an issue with that. They stepped up their quality. They're still both what would be considered AAA games of their time, but they stepped up their quality, and they're moving on to bigger, better projects. They're still making AAA games. Guerrilla's still making AAA games. It's just they're just not making the shit that people didn't really want or stuff that they weren't really successful at. You see what I'm saying?
Well, so here's the thing though, like with Gravity Rush, now again, I'm not interested in those games myself. I'm personally, in some sense, like I'm sad that Japan Studio went away. Actually, the real reason I'm sad that Japan Studio went away is because apparently they were working on a AAA sci-fi game, like that just never got to see the light of day, unfortunately. So like that's why I'm really bummed that studio no longer exists. But as far as and then it would have been nice to something like if they could make something like Shadow of Colossus and Last Guardian, like more like that'd be great. Although those kind of were with an external studio partnered up with as well, but they did the internal contribution to the game too. So from that perspective, I'm sad. But for Gravity Rush 2, like I don't care about that franchise. Like there's a lot of Japanese type games like I'm not personally interested in. I'm more of a Western gamer. So for the types of games I'm not interested in, like, it's fine that Japan Studio went away, but I think for me, there's too many good reasons why, it would have been nice to keep them around still. So, I have my own perspective on it, but I do feel bad for the people who really like Gravity Rush. Like, as far as I understand, those are like really successful like games on Metacritic, like, and they have a lot of fans. It's just not nearly as many compared to Uncharted, Naughty Dog, and the typical Sony game.
It says right here, looking up information, Gravity Rush 1 went on to sell 200,000.
Yep.
Like, we really gonna have a conversation on a game that sold 200,000.
Wow.
Like, really. Like, this is.
I think Jaffe's viewpoint would be that, hey, it's a first party thing. Go ahead and support first party, like, no matter what the cost.
Let me see Sifu sales.
So here's the thing: is that
So
they may be doing a
Seafood-
movie because they might be trying to attract more fans to that franchise.
Seafood sold in just North America and China 1 million units.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's clear when you look at the indie side which game gamers wanted to play.
Yeah.
Between Gravity Rush and Seafood, right? And I think that what makes more sense is, why are we going to keep making a game that people really don't want to play and not go after indies and single-A games that people do want to play? That's how I would see it. I don't see the logical sense in just force brooding games that's just going to collect dust on the shelf, when you can actually put in the effort to get quality, games. Still single-A, still indies, but they're quality that people actually want. Why would I keep making the games that only sell 200 copy, maybe even 50,000 copies, and not actually put the energy and get into games that sell 1 million, 2 million? They're still single A's and double A's. They're still, unique content and stuff like that. Like, how much did Dreams sell? Let me see that one. Let me pull up.
Yeah.
Dreams.
So again, to focus the conversation again. So again, yes, there is the whole thing of, we're going to publish those indies now. That's a good strategy. I think Jaffe's criticism would be, Sony, let's do it both ways. Let's publish, and let's let Japan Studio continue making its stuff. That would be his, and I kind of like that viewpoint, to be honest with you. Even as somebody who doesn't care about Gravity Rush at all.
So let me ask you something. If Japan, let's say Sony did that, but Japan Studios was constantly losing money, hurting Sony's overall budget, that wouldn't concern you? As a person who enjoys Sony's first party, and I'm not saying pocket watch, but ultimately, business is going to adjust something. That's just the rule. They're just not going to sit there and be like, "Hey, we're just high on crack." So let's say if Japan Studios is bleeding money, but for whatever reason they're going to keep it going. You don't think that's going to impact just the budgeting aspect overall, just to keep Japan Studio alive? Because they can't hold their own?
Well, okay. I would first of all say that Japan Studio is perfectly fine to exist, because, like, let's be honest, like, probably the development budgets that they put into their games aren't nearly as much as they're putting into Uncharted, etc. So, honestly, the negative costs are negligible, relatively speaking. I think it's more about keeping the studio around from a historical perspective, because they've been around for so long that, because of the history, we're just going to keep this thing going. Like, as long as PlayStation's a thing, Japan Studio is a thing alongside it, because that was the original kind of studio for them, basically, is what I understand. So I like that perspective,
so
honestly.
You're saying the studio should just simply exist, even though they're not making no money. In fact, they're losing money, but still keep them around.
Oh,
and add that, and have that one black eye in everything Sony's doing, and just
the black eye is only on the business side. It's not on the consumer and creative side. If it was doing a poor job creatively, then I would say, time to cut the goose. But they were releasing quality products, they just weren't selling. But because they're just the PlayStation first party, we just need to bleed that.
So let me ask you this. What's good about a quality product that no one buys? How useful is that quality product? Is it just a talking point on a podcast or on Twitter?
It's for the few people who did enjoy it. Just like VR is for the same thing. It's for the few people who do enjoy it and can get it, and it's the enthusiast gamer, right? That's what you're there for.
Yeah, but VR on PlayStation was profitable. That's why they're doing it. If
VR
wasn't,
they're not really that successful.
Yeah, but So I think Sony made an extra $500 billion off of VR. So the only reason why they're pushing VR is because they're making money. So if Sony was losing money on VR, they would not be pushing it. It wouldn't make sense to me.
Well, I'm not sure what the numbers are, but maybe because of the plain cost of VR, the $400 entry point is significant. I'm not sure how that was when they first released versus now. Yeah. But it wouldn't surprise me if they're making money on each headset from the get go.
Yeah, that probably
because it's a peripheral.
Yeah.
So there is that element, but I will say, from the game's unit sales, they've only sold 5 million units of VR. I mean, so that basically tells you that the maximum amount of units you could sell, in some sense, for VR is 5 million, and I don't think there's any PSVR game that's sold anywhere close to that.
Not necessarily.
You know what I mean? You could.
Here's the thing: is that's only the ones that Sony made money off of. You got to remember, people bought them used and secondhand and word of mouth and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm talking about fresh sales. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that'll carry over, like the success of the PS4 carried over to the PS5. Like nobody can find them. People are falling all over Xbox. So
my point is when you compare whether we're talking about direct PlayStation Store sales or physical brand new copies, or you want to talk about the used market, I would just simply say that in comparison to the regular PS4 games, the regular PS5, there's going to be no comparison. It's basically a 1 to 100 ratio, of amount of sales you would normally get.
But the thing is that also those people are buying the used hardware are still going to be buying the games. And I mean, there's a
lot of VR games are digital.
Yeah, but the same is true as well for
a lot of VR games are
PS4 console.
Oh, digital. I don't remember seeing a lot of VR games in physical. Not a lot anyway.
Well, however it's sold, you know what I mean. So the point is, if you're going to talk about used on the PlayStation VR side, you have to be equal and say, well, the used on the PS4 regular side. Yeah. So sorry, you're just going to have a lot more traffic on the regular PS4 than anything PSVR. I don't care how you slice it, So, yeah. If the PSVR games themselves aren't really that big of money makers, if any, really money makers.
Well, Sony reported it's profitable, and I think that's the end all be all. Really, I don't think we could realistically expect anyone to just say, hey, keep this going when we really are not buying it. But hey, keep it going, Sony, even though I'm not buying it, just keep it going. What? If you're gonna say keep it going, right? I mean, it's really,
if you're a Gravity Rush fan, you're saying keep it going.
Yeah, but
right?
if you're one of 5, let's say if you're one of the few Gravity Rush, like me, if there was a game and I know I'm one of the few that bought it, I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm one of the few people that bought this. Yeah, this franchise is pretty much done. There's no realistic. There's no way I could just ignore. There's no way I could just be emotional about the topic. If I know something flopped, if I know a movie flopped, and even though I love the movie, but it flopped, chances are a sequel to the movie is not gonna happen. That's just something I'm just gonna have to accept. It's just a reality of it, right? Because a lot of these products are not being made because they're doing us favors or they personally like us. It's a business, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they're making the content. Sure, their attempt is to think, hey, we greenlit this project. We'll see how the reaction is. If the majority of people saying, yeah, we're not feeling this, then that's just pretty much. And even then, Sony still made a sequel. So they gave gamers a second chance. They're like, hey, we're going to try this one more time. Make it better. We'll take some of the criticisms. They added a second character for co-op. They're like, hey, here we go. Another chance. We'll give it another go. And it got worse. So at a certain point, the companies be like, okay, we get it. We got the hint. You don't like this game. You don't like the game this developer's making. Let's go in another direction and see if we could find the games that you guys actually do like. The games that you guys actually will want to play. you know, and we'll just keep it moving, you know.
Yeah.
So PR, what I would say is, because I know you're basically what you're saying is the consumer should, like an informed consumer, you know, should kind of understand the business side of the product that they like. And sure, that's good for them to be a well-rounded individual. But I do believe that at the end of the day, like, there fundamentally should be a conflict of interest between the consumer and the business. The consumer wants, you know, better, higher quality, cheaper. The business wants things more expensive, you know, less quality potentially. You know, they want more sales, but you know, they're willing, if they can get away with it, you know what I mean, they're going to lower the quality so that they can lower the cost, right? So there's just a conflict of interest in that perspective. So like the consumer, like I'm perfectly okay with the average gamer out there who doesn't know about the sales of Gravity Rush, who happens to like Gravity Rush. Like they should be clamoring for a sequel. They don't need to go and look up online how many units it sold. They should just be like, Sony, I want this. I don't care about the sales it sold. I want it because I like it. Please make it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
so,
that's fine, but to me, that's just being ignorant. I mean, if people want to just remain ignorant,
sure, but
then sure. Like, but the thing is, I'm not gonna have a conversation on a podcast with a person who thinks like that. If a person wants to just think like that, cool. Oh, but let's talk about. Nah, I'm not talking to you. Why would I talk to someone who's ignorant? Like, if you just want to be like la 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 la, I don't care. Cool.
No, I'm not talking about necessarily that.
But if I'm reasonably talking to another adult, because it's not like Jaffe was a 13-year-old kid. He's a grown-ass man. Hell, he was in the business, so he knows more than anybody else. But if you end up with la 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 la, then I'll be like, I got it. I'm just not going to sit there and have a conversation. There's no point in that. It just doesn't make sense to. You understand what I'm saying? Like, same thing. Like I'll be honest. So, some of those things are, man, this shit is great. How come a sequel? I was like that when I was like 12. When I had the bazooka for the Super NES, I think it was, that shit was awesome. But they hardly made games. When I got the Sega CD, that was awesome. But they hardly made games, right? So I noticed I'm buying all these peripherals for, you know, Sega Genesis, you know, and all this stuff. But as I got older, when I started reading and learning about it, then I understood. Like, it made sense. I'm like, oh, I get it. They made this peripheral. But one, a lot of companies didn't want to make games because the amount of people who bought the peripheral was less than the actual console itself. So they didn't want to invest. And then the few people that did make games for this peripheral, hardly anyone bought it. So then stuff that I didn't understand at the age of 11, I understood at the age of 19. And I've grown up. I get it. So that made me more conscious in terms of buying peripherals. After that point, once I learned that, I wasn't too keen on, you know, like the Sony iToy or the PlayStation Move or even the Kinect, because I knew what was happening. Like, most people are not going to support this stuff. I was also weary about the VR. Like, when the VR was first announced, I was on podcasts, you know, because this was announced in 2016 and stuff like that. I was like, I don't think this is going to work, because I already knew how that plays out for most peripherals. You know, most people don't want to invest making games for like the $5 million when you can make games for the $100 million. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be a day one adopter. I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to wait a year or two, see how this goes. I waited a year or two. It was still around. They were still making a lot of games. It dropped in price, and I tried it, and I love it. But I was very cautious because I just didn't do the la 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 la. I don't care. Like, you got to be realistic about some stuff, right? But I think the argument that Johnny made originally was Sony wasn't trying to do this stuff. You can't say, oh, because they closed down Japan studios, they stopped trying. No, they just going through a different venue or a different direction to still provide what you want, but they're hoping a different path will lead to more quality and more people wanting to play these games. Simply saying, well, they shut down Japan studios, so Sony's not doing it. No, that's not the same. It's two different statements.
Well, that isn't what he's arguing, though. He's arguing that the first-party studios alone, like, he wants to see more diversity and traditional things that they've done. That's all he's arguing for.
For that to happen, they need to buy more indies, because the studios they do have, they made them bigger. They gave them bigger budgets. They gave them more money. Even Housemarque. What's funny is Housemarque wasn't, even though it wasn't technically Sony's first-party studio, but Housemarque did, you know, they were primarily making PlayStation games. But now Housemarque is getting more investment, and this is from Housemarque. They want to grow into. In fact, I think Housemarque even wrote an article saying, you know what's funny? Yes, they did. Housemarque, this is before they got bought Sony. They actually went public and says they will no longer make indies because no one's really buying them. And this is from Housemarque. This is before Sony acquired them. In fact, let me look at the article. I remember specifically, Housemarque publicly announced will no longer make indies because of that reason. That they're now going to try. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Resogun developer Housemarque leaving arcade shooters. It says right here, Resogun developer Housemarque leaving arcade shooter genre. Speaking to Engadget, Helsinki-based developer Housemarque, and this is way before. What year was this? Does it have a date on the article? No, it don't. Unless it's still So anyway, this is what it says. Real quick, it says, speaking to Engadget, Helsinki-based developer Housemarque announced that they are moving on from their trademark arcade shoot-'em-up shooters due to the genre not being financially viable in today's gaming climate. The company have put out several excellent titles over the years, such as early PS4 game Resogun, Stardust, Super Stardust HD, and the brilliant Nex Machina, with their latest game, Matterfall, receiving official Sony distribution. All of these titles were received positively by critics and genre fans. Sadly, that doesn't automatically translate to big bucks, with Nex Machina failing to sell over 100,000 copies across 2 formats. Still an impressive number for a niche title, but not enough to keep the company in financial security. We are really proud of what we accomplished with Nex Machina, said Housemarque CEO. It was a passionate work of love, and we got to work with our hero, Eugene Jarvis. We don't have regrets. We would have liked to continue down this path, but unfortunately, that is not possible. You know? And that's just another example of sure, we will provide these great, unique experiences, and they receive positive critical acclaims. But what is a developer and a studio or publisher supposed to do if no one's buying it, and they're not making the money to sustain those types of content? If that's not, it's just not possible. I mean, no developer studio can expect to get a paycheck if the development studios is not producing profit.
Microsoft is.
Yeah, no, Microsoft. So Microsoft is all in on Game Pass because it's just the Netflix model. You're gonna keep investing into this program until you hit the subscriber number, and once you hit that subscriber number, the subscriber numbers will take care of itself. They no longer, and that goes back to the Matt Damon part, right? Once the subscription is self-sufficient, self-supportive, self-profit, they're gonna keep making decisions to ensure that system stays profitable. Which means
the difference between the movie business and Microsoft is that Microsoft has revenue streams coming in from Office and Microsoft Windows. And the thing is with their corporate software, such as Office, a bunch of other ones there, but I mean you can look them up. They're all on subscription services now, so they're getting steady flow of income from that as well.
So
instead of just outright buying the product.
So I agree. So Microsoft has their most successful division is Azure Cloud Services. That's where most of the money's coming from, right? But at a certain point, Xbox. Right now, all that money Microsoft making is kind of like Xbox is like the kid, right? You gave birth to a kid, and now you're responsible for that child growing up. So you're gonna feed them, clothe them, go through school, pay for their education, pay for whatever. But at a certain point, once they're a grown ass man and they finish their education, you got to do you. You're not gonna be living on daddy's money forever, son. You got to step up, make your own money, make your own way. And right now, Xbox Game Pass is like that child, that teenage, that adolescence. They're in that growing pain, so they're just gonna play that money. Put 600,000 K for a cooking simulator. Give me $2 million for this game. They're gonna. That's like paying for private school. They're gonna keep that Game Pass growing. But once Game Pass sustains itself, and now it reached those metrics and subscriber counts, whether it's 100 million or 150 million subscribers, whatever that metric that Microsoft determined, this is what will make Game Pass sustainable and profitable. So that way it could reinvest in itself going forward. You no longer need money from other stuff. You got it. That's when the real decision is going to come. And that won't happen for maybe like another 7-10 years. That's why I found the Matt Damon scenario interesting. Because remember, the whole streaming started years ago, 2007. 2008, 2009 was still in its infancy, so people still buying DVDs, people still buying the movies directly. But at a certain point, subscriptions really started taking over and started being at the forefront of everything. And that's when the culture shifted. That's when people were like, I'm not buying this. I got Netflix. Oh, man, I got Disney Plus. Oh, I got HBO Max. You're not going to subscribe to all these subscription services and still buy movies. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, I know, but what I'm getting at as well is that they have 30 studios that are sitting there twiddling their thumbs, quote unquote, developing games.
That's a whole other podcast. You need to
they
come.
Still gotta pay it.
You need to come.
They still gotta pay. They still gotta pay all those paychecks, man. Payroll busy.
We'll talk about that next week. All right. That's all. I'm gonna cut it short because I didn't realize how late it was and keeping everybody up. But anyway, let me read these last super chats. We got Sanyu.com. He says the mythical PS show in September will blow minds. I hope they do have one. We'll see. Because right now, as the year's getting closer, I'm seeing less and less blueprint on Sony's plans and stuff. So it would be like for them to refresh and give us updates on what their other studios have in store or whatever. And Arc War Angel, he says, hit that like button. Yes, definitely hit that like button. Anyway, I see a lot of power members left. This podcast lasted a little longer than normal. But hey, to everybody out there, to all the viewers, thank you so much. Before we go, Generic Eric, once again, you want to plug in your content?
Yeah, you can catch me on Facebook as well as Twitter at Real Generic Eric. I am also on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. You can look for the Pushing Buttons podcast, the one with the 4 PlayStation buttons. And as well, Dylan T. Villain, he's in the chat. He's also on Twitter. It's the same handle.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I truly appreciate you coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime. Project Cloud, my friend. Absolutely love the conversations with you, man. Absolutely. What a night, man. Thank you so much. No, but you bring a great perspective to the conversation.
Well, I mean, I like to do my research.
What?
Sorry, go ahead. I like to do my research before I put everything out there. I don't like to just blurt out nonsensical garbage.
Awesome.
Although sometimes I will have nonsensical ramblings in my podcast, they usually result in some pretty funny stuff. My last episode, actually, I did a description of what all Final Fantasy games are.
Oh, no. Hold up. We will not have Final Fantasy slander in this podcast. There will be no slander.
It's not slander.
And you're lucky Jay Barry's not here. He'll be like, wait, what? What you got? What you gonna say? Watch your mouth. He'll kick your shins. He'll kick your shins. All right.
Well, it's not that bad, but
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming through. I truly appreciate it. To my friends, family, my fellow gamers, this is your only friend, these YouTube Streets, PorterRock77. I will see you guys definitely next week on Tuesday. For another episode of 60 Frames No Lag. I might push out new content, maybe another live or maybe a hot take depending what pops up. Probably upload it on Saturday or something like that. We'll see. But anyway, you guys take care, and I am out of here. Peace. And all right,